People. That's our what and why. Everyone is talking about how AI will disrupt the workplace. However, we know that our most valuable asset will always be our people. But is it always clear to them, or even ourselves, what the bigger picture is? Why do we exist as human capital? What is our ambition? How are we planning for success? What are our must-wins? There are 5 focus areas that we need to action to ensure success. Attract, hire, and retain the best diverse talent in the world. We want to make Sanlam a great place to work by embedding a strong leader-led culture. Improving efficiency and agility across the group will enable high-performance teams and the effective implementation of business transactions. Build a culture of continuous learning that empowers our people to adapt, innovate, and thrive in an ever-evolving landscape. Digitally transform the human capital value chain to enhance the data architecture to deliver actionable insights that drive business success. And this all forms part of our human employment deal, which will enable us to become the best workplace and workforce. Lastly, how will we succeed on this journey? By making an impact, delivered by actual people, for the people.
The best workplace and workforce, delivered by the people, for the people. Welcome, everybody, to our first Human Capital Townhall for 2024. Welcome to all 167 of you. It's amazing to see all of us come together again. I still can't believe that Q1 is already over and done with, and we are in April. But so glad that we are able to come together again. We had over 460 people register. Apologies to some of you who had some, I think, glitches when registering, and I think people had to re-register, didn't get the link. We apologize. But I also want to thank all of you who asked questions prior as you were registering. We have received quite a number of questions, and lucky enough, almost all of the questions are very much aligned to what we will be covering today. What we have just seen is our refreshed human capital strategy video. It's not the first time we are seeing our strategy. And I think most at the core of it, our must-wins and what we want to do have stayed the same. But the human capital leadership team with Sinola's leadership worked very closely with the strategy implementation office to review and refresh and look at our strategy. And amazing work on that video, Annette. I think I really enjoyed that reminder again about who we are and what we are trying to do for the business. Our human capital town hall sessions are usually about 3 hours. I know it's quite a short time, and we try to cover as much as we can in the 3 hours. So we do have a packed agenda item for all of you today. And I'm excited, and I'm glad to see the numbers going up. People are joining. So let's hope that they join quite quickly, because we do want to get started as soon as possible. You would have seen, I think on Thursday, because it was a long weekend, our human capital focus, which is a new one of our communication engagement initiatives, where this video that we've just seen would also have been shared. If you have not looked at the human capital focus, which I know you've received, please make time to look at it. We will share it again when we do thank you and share all the material that will be shared today. But have a look. That is one initiative again for us to get quarterly updates on our strategy and how we are tracking. And we really would like to hear from you how you are receiving that. So on the agenda, we want to focus today, I think, on 3 key things. The one exciting one, of course, I think is the feature that we introduced in our last town hall when we put the spotlight on retail affluent, and we had Chantal Paul and her team come and share with us what they were busy with and some of the work that they had achieved and some that were still in progress. And it was really great to see how you all received that so positively. And of course, we thought we have to continue with that because we want to share, we want to hear one from the different clusters. We want to get closer to what the clusters are doing in their areas, sharing their successes and celebrate them, but also learn and collaborate with them. And today we are going to feature two of our clusters. We'll have the Sanlam Corporate going quite closely after me just now. And then we have Sanlam Retail Mass as well. In between the two spotlights of the two clusters, we will hear about, I know it's one of the projects that everybody in Sanlam wants to know about. It's Project Accelerate. I'm excited that again, we will continue. I think we started the journey of making sure that we increase your awareness, we give the information, give you the knowledge to know what it is, how it fits in, and today we'll go a little bit deeper into what does that mean for us as human capital. And then I think as a human capital community, I think not just for us, but for the rest of the business, we've made sure that recognizing our employees and their hard work is a key pillar of what we do. So of course, we have our Human Capital Awards that will be part of our agenda led by Julia as well. And at the end, just before we close the session, we will have, of course, Sinola coming in to address us and just he will close the session. But Sinola, before I hand over to the Sanlam Corporate, I wanted to thank you. I think thank you for making it an intentional effort for us as a human capital community to come together. Thank you for believing that engaging and connecting is quite important and making sure that we plan ahead for our town halls and we come together. This is the first one. We've got two more coming for the year. So I just wanted to say that I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And I'm sure that our colleagues around the virtual room also do that. But colleagues, again, as you know, I would like really for you to help me run the session and help me make sure that the panel members answer all your questions before they leave here. So start asking your questions now. I've now told you what we're going to cover. So put in your questions and comments, but also let me know how it's going as the session goes along. So I really like interacting with you as we go along. Thank you for the questions that we have already, but we want more. I'm sure there will be a lot more. So start asking them now. I will keep monitoring the questions and comments. I'll make sure that when we have the Q&A, which I think for me, that's one of the important things, to make sure that we answer the questions that you have. So ask your questions. I'll keep monitoring, and then we'll get to that when we have time for that in our agenda. Excited to hear from the Sanlam Corporate team, which will be led by Portia Mohale. She's the HC executive for the cluster. And the team has, of course, I think your willingness and just your excitement when we reached out to say we would like to put a spotlight on you. You said you grabbed it by two hands. So I'm excited. I'm sure everybody else is looking forward to see what you have to share for us. Portia will introduce the team members that are here with her. But I'm going to hand over to you, Portia, and just say I'm so excited. I get so excited as if I want to be seconded to the clusters after I hear about what the exciting things that you guys are doing. So over to you.
Thank you so much, Mpho. We get excited to talk about some of the work that we are doing. And so I am joined by two of my colleagues, Obaking Muleke and Kogisa Diti, who will be sharing some of the highlights through the work that the teams have been doing. And I think the one thing I wanted to say just as part of the introduction is that, you know, the opportunity to really highlight the work that the people in this town hall do to support their businesses is very important. And so we thought that we would start by just sharing with you firstly a little bit about our business so that you understand some of these things that we've picked as highlights in the context of the work that we do. I don't know if we've got the presentation up as yet. I don't see it.
Apologies, I just wanted to share it to make sure that we can see that. Okay.
Okay.
And Obake, just confirm that you
I'll let you know as soon as I can, sure.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So maybe let me start by just saying, one of the key things that you will see as we talk about our business, we're going to talk about a little bit about our ambitions as a business and what we are driving. And you will see how intrinsic it is, the people strategy to the actual business strategy, because our enablement of our people from a people strategy perspective is really what allows our business to drive on the financial ambitions and really drive the growth, the goals that we are looking at the moment. King, I don't know if you've got control yet.
Not yet,
or...
not yet.
Okay.
And there we go. Thank you.
Excellent. All right, so let's talk a little bit about who Sanlam Corporate is. That first slide is me, and as you can see, my picture comes in triplicate because we obviously struggle to find a picture that not come in triplicate. But and there's three of us today who are going to present to you because we really just want to share at the core what our business is all about. So some of you might know, but Sanlam Corporate has a number of business units under it, and our focus is really around providing our clients. A large number of those clients are institutional clients with tools and financial products that help their people be able to do proper financial planning and really to build financial confidence in their environments. So some of you might know that you are members of the Sanlam Umbrella Fund. The Sanlam Umbrella Fund is a fund that is driven through the Sanlam Corporate business. It is currently one of the actual fastest growing umbrella fund at the moment, because in the last 5 years, we've actually grown the fund 250%, which is really a phenomenal result, a result that is driven by the people who actually work in Sanlam Corporate. We also have a group risk business. Actually, our group risk business is 26% of the market share at the moment, which makes it the biggest group risk business in the country. Something that, again, that we are really proud of because it allows us to provide a diverse type of products to our clients that really helps them to look after the financial health of their people. As you might have known, a key part of the Sanlam Group strategy is our growth in the health sector. And recently, I think about 6 or 7 months now, we announced that the Afrocentric Group is now part of the Sanlam Group and is now part of the Sanlam Corporate business as well, allowing us to really take an end-to-end solution to our clients that includes a very strong health focus as well. And you'll see that today we will spend also a little bit of time just sharing with you about what our Afrocentric business does, but also what the HC community in the Afrocentric business has been doing to really help their people to drive their strategy. Today, we are joined by just over 70 of our Afrocentric HC colleagues who it's the first time that they've joined the session with us. So we're quite excited about that. And we really want to warmly welcome them into the session as well. So this business is, a business that is leader-led, that is people-led. And just as a way of introducing, this is the Sanlam Corporate Exco. As I said, it also includes Gerald van Wyk, who is the Group CEO of Afrocentric. And really this team is at the helm of helping this business to drive the results that we are looking for. Gerald, as the newest member of this Exco, is ably supported and helped by the Afrocentric Group executive team, who are shown here as well, and also just really focused around how they drive that business and they drive the results that we are looking for as a group from that business. So just maybe to just give everybody a little bit of a heads up around who Afrocentric it is so Afrocentric is a group of businesses which is the leading diversified healthcare group across Southern Africa. Afrocentric actually currently generates about 9 billion rand in revenue, which is really good news for us as a Sanlam Group business, because this is a strong business that we are bringing in to really add diversity to the offering that we take to our clients. And that is something that in the way that they work with Sanlam Corporate, but also with the broader group, are really going to help us to go to market with a really strong value proposition. The Afrocentric business has a component of it, which is around medical aid administration, which is really the part that I think most of us, work with or interact with. But they also have a very strong pharmaceutical cluster as well, which really looks at has an end-to-end supply chain around high quality drugs, something that's really needed in South Africa as well. As if you look at the future, there's a component around the corporate solutions offering, which looks at holistic employee well-being that is really being driven as the full strategy around this business. Now, you may ask, why are we telling you this? It's because the work that the human capital team does, both at Afrocentric and at Sanlam Corporate, is really about ensuring the well-being of the people who deliver on the strategy. Our focus collectively is around delivering exceptional people experiences, whether that's through learning, whether that's through some of the work that we're doing with the leadership. And you will see this as we give feedback around what are we doing in these businesses, that we are really focusing on really creating this exceptional experience for our people so that they can deliver the same experience to the broader businesses that they support. And so I would like to introduce Obakeng to tell you a little bit about what are we doing around creating these exceptional experiences in Sanlam Corporate, followed by Xolisa, who will talk about what has the human capital team at Afrocentric delivered that they're really proud of as well. So over to you, Obakeng.
Great. Thank you so much for that introduction, Portia. I'm incredibly excited to actually be sharing some of the highlights that are coming out of Sanlam Corporate that have been obviously pushed through into the system by our HC colleagues. So without wasting any time, I do see though that our slides are a little bit blurred. I know that they're working on that in the background, but let me just kick off and start sharing around our enhanced onboarding program that we've actually put together. And this is something that has been led by our HC team, supported by our COE, being our L&D partners. And really the purpose around this is about engaging and welcoming our new recruits to create a sense of belonging for them into our business. We're introducing to them, obviously, our SC culture. They have an opportunity also to get a really good and in-depth understanding of what our rewards and benefits are that they're going to be eligible for as our employees. And of course, that is also then just started off by our actual CEO sharing a warm welcome for each and every one of those recruits. We're very proud of what that enhanced onboarding looks like. We're getting some really positive feedback from our new joiners on a monthly basis as we keep rolling out that onboarding program. So of course, if anybody is keen also just to collaborate on that and share maybe some of your own business insights that you would like to highlight, we'd be happy to include that into our onboarding session. Moving right on around our actual inclusion highlights that we've put together into our business, I'd very much like to touch on our Young Professionals Network. Now, this is going to be officially launched into our business in June of this year. And the purpose really around the Sanlam Corporate Young Professionals Network is to make sure that we build an inclusive culture, we bridge that generational divide, and of course, we make sure that we bring our individuals together, those that are under the age of 35. So fun fact for you, our business has about 432 individuals under the age of 35, and that's about 30% of our business. So it is important that we help our young people to build that community whilst we promote a diverse and inclusive culture for them. We also want to ensure that we enable their career growth and development. So we don't want to just leave that in the capable hands of our line leaders, but in this particular network, we actually make sure that we take care of them and we highlight what kind of opportunities we will be able to help them to put together within our business as well. And of course, a key one to make sure that we also have a transfer of practical and future fit skills from the rest of our business into our young talent as well. while we're speaking about our young talent, I'd very much like to take this opportunity as well to highlight just some of our hypos that are sitting within our high talent group over there. And what you're seeing are 5 individuals in our business who have been nominated for the Mail and Guardian annual Top 200 Young South African Awards. So we're incredibly proud of these individuals. They've been nominated across various categories into that particular awards, and we're holding thumbs for them. A special mention, and I do really hope that that black block will move out of the way, but a special mention for one of our very own from HC, being Ntombi Nhlapho, who's been nominated for this year's awards as well. Keeping in line with our young talent strategy, just a quick overview on what is called our Youth Empowerment Program, or for those of you who are in the know, we call this our YEP program within Sanlam Corporate. And again, this is really around looking after our young talent. So how do we actually create pipeline for disadvantaged youth to find their way into our business? This is the program that we have that is currently running. And it's really around actually enabling and empowering individuals to earn a wealth management qualification within our business. Very proud to say that we also have an absorption rate of those particular learners into our business of over 80%. So 80% of the individuals on that program are able to find themselves employment within our business, which is great because, of course, we are growing our own timber within our business as well. So very excited as well. We've got 2 current pipelines running right now, being year 1 and year 2, and they're doing really well. I am just going to make sure that I show you a couple of pictures, and you can actually see a couple of those individuals who are currently on that program. All right, well, that has moved past those pictures, so we'll move on into just highlighting a little bit around our holistic well-being offerings. I mean, of course, once we're making sure that people are feeling like they belong into our business, it's important that we also take care of our people. You heard from Portia already speaking around the fact that we have our partnership and the integration of our Afrocentric colleagues. So of course, these offerings are only going to get better. What you're seeing on your screen right now is us just highlighting a couple of the recent initiatives under our holistic well-being, that being some of the clinic openings that we've had. Recently, we've opened a clinic in our Centurion building, that's at West End. We've obviously got a clinic as well in Belleville, as well as in Alice Lane. So you can just see a couple of those snapshots over there, some of our wellness days as well that we have hosted. And of course, for the individuals sitting in our regional offices, we've made sure that they are also not left out, but that they are getting their wellness care packages and their desk drops into those particular areas as well. And as I just alluded to around our care packages, you know, that's something that we make sure that we send through to those individuals who need them, and that we meet that need around, you know, fostering our value of care as well. See, my slides are sticking, but hopefully it will catch up with me as we just continue on just sharing around our holistic well-being offerings. And this is something that I'm really excited to actually be sharing about, a full-on homegrown initiative that was built by Ntombi Nhlapho, actually from our HC team. And it's something called our Mindful Mondays. And this was launched during the Wellness Month last year. And what this was a series of about 7 different conversations that happened every Monday morning. And each and every Sanlam corporate employee could dial into this session where we were discussing things and topics around mental well-being, and specifically around mindfulness. Obviously wanting to change the narrative of that, you know, super blue Mondays that everybody has, but maybe changing that sad blue Monday to a Sanlam blue Monday. And really the topics that we were touching on during those particular sessions with things around breath work. What are the practical tools actually that we can take as employees to look after our mental well-being, and also how to actually support one another in the office when it comes to issues around mental well-being. And a really lovely initiative as well that supported that was actual desk drops of some mindfulness cards, which encompassed a couple of quotes that would actually just get you into the mood from a mindfulness perspective. So something that we, as well as an HC team, have actually continued in the spirit of, and really looking forward to launching that within our business later this year. Perhaps if you are interested in that as well, please let us know and we'll be happy to open up that invite to you and your teams as well. Right, just to quick highlight on some of the engagement and connection activities that have been happening as well in our business. On the left-hand side, you can see on there something that is speaking around our power
Okay.
hour. Hi,
I'm so sorry to cut you, but we're trying
no
to
problem.
solve this gray block on the
That block
screen.
on the right-hand side, yeah,
It looks like Matthew says if he can reshare, maybe it will be
that's
removed.
fine.
But mind if we just try that? Because I think we're missing
Absolutely,
out on.
quite a bit.
So Matthew, if you can try and reshare instead of waiting for the presentation to, because some of our colleagues are also seeing us. No.
Oh, still has that block.
Yeah.
Is the block on the side still there?
Yep,
Yeah, it is.
it's still
There's
there.
Matthew.
Just give me 1 second.
Sure.
Hearing the Sanlam corporate colleagues, I feel like I want to join that cluster because I might feel like I'm still 35 and stay 35 for a while.
That is the plan. We want to keep ourselves young and fresh, and so you're more than welcome. More than welcome.
Liking the lingo as well. Yep, the YEP program.
That's it. That's it.
But King, if you've got Mindful Mondays and today's Tuesday, what exciting things do you have for us today?
Choose your Tuesday. So today you're going to choose to bring the best of yourself, Sanola. I know you thought you're going to
Awesome.
put me on the block on that one, but I got you.
No, I wasn't. I'm quite excited about all of these things.
Tomorrow's Wacky Wednesday, but that one's not internal, so.
And Brooke, can you
Right.
confirm if the box is there?
We still
the
see
view?
the box. Matthew, I don't know if you want to just try and put it into the full slideshow, and then we'll see if it will go away. Boy, it actually seems to have actually grown, and now the slides, the half of the slide is actually now kind of stretched.
Would it work if perhaps, Obaking, you shared the pack from your side?
Yeah, is that something that we can do?
We can most definitely do that, yes.
All right, let me just
Can
quickly bring
we
it up.
try?
Give me 2 ticks.
Apologies, colleagues, but if we've got
No
any
problem.
volunteers to sing or entertain us while we wait, please feel free.
I don't know if you noticed, Mpo, but when Matthew's face came on and his avatar kept blinking, everybody was laughing, and it made me think that maybe we all need
Maybe Matthew, that's what
took them by surprise.
Yeah, keep blinking. But I love the reactions, guys. I love the engagement that's coming through. I saw so many clapping hands and hearts overcame about already some of
Love
the
it.
things you've shared. Love it. And welcome, warm welcome to the Afrocentric colleagues that are on the call.
Can we ask perhaps that the Afrocentric colleagues respond, that everybody knows, you know, they are in the house as well?
Yeah.
Welcome all our Afrocentric colleagues. It's really great to have you on as the first time participant. I think it's a great journey for us as we traverse our relationships together. And yeah, I'm just blown away by all these wonderful things in Sanlam Corporate. It's really amazing.
Oh, you're going to be blown away more when you hear what the Afrocentric team is busy with as well.
Awesome. I can't wait.
Something is happening again.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I'll be able to actually bring up this prezzo, but it seems to be elusive. There we go. Yay. And then we'll just get back up to speed. Give me a second.
Remember to share with sound, Obaking.
I have.
Oh, cool. All right.
There we go. Hopefully we can just catch up to where we were. And of course, Murphy's Law, our slides are going to be sticky. All right, there we go. Just going to let this catch up with where I am. There we go. Fabulous. All right, so back to just highlighting around our engagement and our connection. As I was saying, on our left-hand side, you'll see a couple of pictures over there, some of our EXCO members. And what we were doing here is something called our Power Hour. And in these particular sessions, we showcase each leader to our employees in our business, and we're really having a conversation, getting to actually learn who is the person behind the title, if I can put it in that perspective, learning about, what some of their own passions are, and hearing about, some of their travels, etc. And really the purpose around that particular Power Hour session is just to help us actually create, proper relationships between our employees as well as our leaders. It actually helps us to actually build that engagement as well, and that connectedness between our leaders and our people as well, which actually helps to, just create that facilitation of immersing new leaders, number one, into our business, and also just using an innovative platform outside of kind of the usual newsletters, etc., but a way to actually share ideas, as well as also just have, nice, real conversations with our business leaders. On your right-hand side, you're seeing our on the couch conversations that connect. And typically what we are doing in those particular on the couch sessions is speaking around things that are key and relevant to our business at that time. So if it's about a topic around this year, as some of you may know about SLS, it's about our year of the client. Those are the kind of conversations that we will have with our business leaders and our people, providing an opportunity to have those discussions, and share information, share ideas, outside of your typical kind of a boardroom setting, if we can put it in that particular aspect. Something that really is working in our business. Our people love these particular sessions, and we're always kind of, sitting with 400-500 individuals outside of our business at a time, enjoying those kind of conversations and learning more about what is happening in our business. Before, I don't know why this is not continued, but before we go into these particular videos that are going to play straight after this, and I'll try and go back to that now, I would just like to make sure that I just let you know what you're going to see on the videos. And I've just noticed that our sound is not playing for some odd reason. Murphy and I are not getting along today. I'm going to just try and stop that particular video for now. Let's have a look if it'll allow. There we go. But the videos that you're going to see, I'm struggling a little bit just to move it back for some odd reason. But the videos that you're going to see on your screen, the first will just be a quick snippet of our leadership roadshow, our first of 2024. And it was actually combined, of course, with our Afrocentric colleagues, our second one that we've had together with our Afrocentric colleagues. So very excited to be sharing a little bit about that for you. You will then also see a little bit of a snapshot of our Udumo Award incentive trip winners. So you will hear Vota and Portia just speaking to you about that. And it's key there just to highlight that we were celebrating our people, we were celebrating our business results. As you know, our SLS cluster did really well in 2023, and it was very important that we carve out the time to celebrate the people in our business who've gone over and beyond, and highlight to those particular individuals. So you'll get a quick view of who those individuals are in our business, as well as a little bit of a teaser around where they actually get to go when we speak about our incentive trips, right? So another one there for you, Mpho, to just give you a little bit of a greater motivation to join the Sanlam cluster. So let me just move this back, and I hope this time when I do share that it will actually allow us to share this video with sound. Let's try again.
Obaking, when sharing, just click the share sound video, please.
I beg your pardon, Matthew?
When you share the screen, when you choose your desktop, just click the share sound button as well, please.
Perfect, I'll do that.
King, while you're trying to do that, I just want to share something that I think is such a good thing about the Udumo Awards that you're going to see later, is that the Udumo Award is open to all employees across the Sanlam corporate business. So it's not necessarily a sales award, even though there is a component of our sales people that go on the trip, but it's open to everyone. So if you are displaying excellence anywhere in our business, you get nominated and you have a chance to go on one of these incentive trips for that particular year.
Wow, that's amazing.
And there we go. Our video, hopefully it's back. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Fabulous.
About is, you know, when you've come off of such a
Come on. This is misbehaving yet again. Apologies, colleagues. Let's try and get this right. There we go. Wait there. It's not our day today with the tech. Right, let's try again. I have no idea why this is not,
Yeah, looks like
not
technology
allowing
is
us.
not on our side.
Not
What
at
we will
all.
do is we will make sure that we share the pack, and colleagues, apologies, but I think try and make the time to really look at the videos and the content post the session. Sorry, Viking, maybe you want
That's
to
fine.
just.
That's fine. I'm
But
gonna
look,
just
I think, yeah.
Okay, perfect. We are back on screen. I'll just move over. What you're seeing at the moment, there we go. There's our lovely Portia and Vota, one of our EXCO members, about to actually introduce to us who our award winners were for our Duma Awards. And let's see, there I'm seeing a little funny button, but I just can't press it to unmute the sound.
King, even if the sound doesn't share, I think
you know, beyond what they're supposed to do in terms of the work that they do, the experience they give their fellow employees and clients, as well as continuously trying to improve. As you know, there's two categories in Udumo that really talk to, you know, how people show up in terms of their values, but also around individual excellence and the effort people put into their work. And so today we're using that opportunity to talk to that.
All right, and there you have it on your screen right now. You can see that in 2022, our incentive trip winners were at the Caribbean. 2023 was the Zanzibar and the Serengeti. This year it's Vietnam. And for those of you who do try and manage successfully to move over into our cluster, you're welcome to push hard and try and go on our 2025 incentive trip to Alaska. And you are able to bring your +1. So there we go. Just a couple of snapshots that we thought we'll share from there, but let's move right on along. Just a quick showcase of some of the highlights from our learning and development side. I'm sure some of you have already heard around something that we call our learning circles. And these are sessions that are run by both the HC team as well as our L&D colleagues. And we use these particular sessions to drive, you know, leadership enablement as well as development around our HC practices. You know, so we run sessions around whether it be employee relations, talent, particular things that are actually driven by our HC calendar. And we invite both employees as well as line leaders for particular sessions that will actually run around those key topics in those particular sessions. One of the other really amazing things that we have actually been able to do and launch last year, one is something called our employee toolkit, and of course our line manager toolkit. And really those are self-help tools that have actually allowed, whether it's an employee or line manager, to be able to access all of our HC practices, policies, forms, etc. in one place, and are actually allowing people to actually go and check things, read through particular content, and it actually assists us as well as the HC that is supporting those individuals to actually have those conversations and support and drive through that particular toolkits. Now you're actually allowing people to find that in one place. And I think if anybody knows, sometimes it is difficult to find some of our information housed in one place and in actual ways that actually talk to you about how do you then practically use those particular policies and practices as well. And of course, I think something that I just very quickly like to highlight as well is a program that was launched last year. It's something called our Lead with Courage program, which is really around enabling and equipping our leaders to be courageous, also leading with vulnerability and allowing them to actually have those difficult conversations that they sometimes need to. And this actually helps and enables us to drive our high performance culture, as well as a dynamic culture that also helps to drive accountability and that exceptional employee experience that we're trying to drive. And that's something that is for all our junior and our middle managers as well. We have 3 cohorts that are planned for 2024. And of course, homegrown also by our L&D team. So quick one for a round of applause for them for putting together that amazing program for our leaders. But while we're speaking about amazing programs and things that are homegrown, I'd like to just quickly touch on or highlight rather one of the key innovation highlights that have come out of Sanlam Corporate. I will end that off with a video, but before we go into that, key for me to mention that we have a hackathon, an annual hackathon, and last year was the first time that we've actually ran the hackathon across the group and not only within Sanlam Corporate. So that was really exciting, something that quite a lot of our employees have really enjoyed. If some of your people were not involved last year, here you go, call to action for you to make sure that you nominate some of your employees to take part in the hackathon this year. Ooh. Oh, actually went right past one slide, but we will share this pack, so we'll touch base on that one. Let's go over.
Good morning, Sanlammers. Welcome to the inaugural Sanlam group-wide hackathon. And as you can see, the teams had not just amazing fun, but they've been building the most amazing innovative solutions that they're going to showcase to you all today.
Our first prize winner for today, with lots of information, the Mavericks.
Fantastic to see the variety, fantastic to see the participation, and the type of ideas coming to the fore. I think one thing we do need to do is probably connect the dots on some of these ideas that have come forward that are also being worked on in other parts of the business, that they might have the piece of the puzzle that the one group in the other area does not have, that's missing, and together I think we're going to solve a stronger puzzle.
And there you have it. That was our first group-wide hackathon. Looking forward to seeing entrants from all across the rest of the group this year as we grow that hackathon. For now, I'm going to hand over to Tlokisa, who's going to take us through the key highlights from Afrocentric.
Awesome. Thank you, Obi. Hi, everybody. I just want to introduce myself. I don't think I've met a lot of people on the line. My name is Tlokisa Didi. I'm the GM for Human Capital Operations. So I look after all of human capital business partnering for Afrocentric under the leadership of Tebogo Makwe. Thank you, colleagues, for this lovely opportunity. And having worked with the corporate colleagues for a while, there's a lot of golden threads that have already been shared. So I won't necessarily go into that. But I think it's important for us to share some of our highlights that are similar, but with a little bit of a healthcare flair. And obviously, being a health company, wellness is very important for us. It's one of our products. So it's very important that whatever we give to our clients, we can also bring it back home. our wellness philosophy is anchored on these 5 pillars, which is mental and emotional support, financial health, personal support, sense of purpose, and social and meaningful connections. I do just want to spotlight around our sense of purpose. We've got 2 forums that are running at the moment. The one is focusing on fireside with men. So it's men's conversations. That's really an opportunity for men to have conversations. Because what we found is a lot of men don't communicate around how they feel, how things are impacting them. We always see sort of the outcome of some of the situations that they've been in. So that forum is really just to create opportunities for men to discuss whatever. There's usually no agenda. It was the first one was launched by Gerald, and really it was a conversation with men around men issues. And we, as women, we don't always have an opportunity to hear what they say, but I suppose that's not the point of that. And then we've got our Women in Health Forum. That one is one of our key programs for women. It is headed up by our colleagues who are doctors. We've got a lot of medical doctors within our organization, and they really bring to the fore issues around women's health, right? And also what it does is it also challenges us as an organization to say, we're not just a health company, but how do we actually make sure that we give access to our women in terms of their health. And one of the key outcomes from that program was they challenged us to relook our maternity policy to make sure that it's benchmarked and it's in line with other top companies, which we have done. We've also implemented through that forum breastfeeding rooms within our campuses, which help integrate moms who come back from maternity leave. So those are some of just the key initiatives that I think are quite important coming from women within our organization, and we give them that opportunity through these forums. Okay. Sticking to healthcare, again, this was one of our key collaboration initiatives with business. So 8 for 8 is one of our business units or one of our programs that run the managed care program for HIV across our schemes that we manage. And to commemorate World AIDS Day last year, we had an initiative that was led by AFA, because a key driver for our people strategy is that it needs to be leader-led, and we enable them as a human capital community. And you'll see in there that was also that little picture is from our pharmacy director. Portia mentioned that one of our businesses is our pharmacy business, and a key contract that we manage for the government is the distribution of ARVs across South Africa. So this program becomes quite important for our people to also experience it from an employee perspective, but also as consumers of this product. So I just want to share a little bit of the highlights of that day. Thanks.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As we gather today in commemoration of the World AIDS Day, we stand united in solidarity, honoring the strength, the resilience of communities worldwide in the fight against HIV/AIDS.
Can share a longer video at a different time, but I think it was important just to share a snapshot. All right. Importantly also is our employee listening strategy. So our business is a business in transition. Portia mentioned that Gerald joined us recently as our CEO. And with that, obviously, the shareholding of Sanlam, it really creates a lot of exciting opportunities for us. And it also gives us an opportunity to reposition ourselves as an organization, but also as a human capital community in terms of how do we better support our business. And our employee listening strategy touches on that with different components from our leadership engagements. Obi already mentioned that we were part of the corporate leadership conference as well as the SLS, but we also had our own at home to make sure that there's alignment across the strategy. What is a vision? What is it that we want to do to make sure that we enhance the offering for Sanlam Corporate, and also we achieve our goal of creating access to quality healthcare for South Africans. So how do we do that as a community? And Gerald brought together the leadership team for us to align on our strategy. We also participated in the Sanlam Pulse survey, so that was quite exciting for us to say, you know, we're part of the Sanlam Group, so how do we start really engaging in some of the offerings that the group has at our disposal? So for our first participation, we had over 70% participation, which is really great for us. And I'm sure we'll see that growing from strength to strength. Also, we've got a lot of new leaders across the business. So Gerald's not the only new executive in our ExCo. There's quite a few that are new. So within our different clusters as well, we continue the conversations around getting to know your leader. What is their vision? What do they want us to achieve? What is the culture they want to embed within our business? So again, I'll just share a little bit of some words from Gerald just around his view from a leadership conference perspective.
Such an exciting session as we look to boldly move forward in transforming this business and to owning our future.
Okay. All right. All right, so recognition for us too is quite important, and we'll make our way into being part of those elaborate incentives for Sanlam Corporate. But we launched our first recognition program for the group in 2022, called the Ignite Awards. And really it focuses on 3 areas, which is really how do we shape our future? So it's really a call to action for all our people to say you all have a role to play. Your role is important to make sure we move forward as an organization. So how are we shaping our future? How are you Afrocentric citizens? So really, what are the actions that you are taking daily that push us towards what we want to achieve for our customers, for our members, for our clients, and for our people? And I think quite a unique one is really around the community citizen. So there's a big focus in terms of not just the individuals that are part of our business, but also how do we impact the communities that we live and operate in. And we had our first recognition awards in February this year. Again, this is one of those initiatives where we enable business and we partner with them, that they lead this thing so that the employees can feel that they're being recognized by their peers and their leaders. So this is really our first recognition program, and we are striving to make this bigger and bigger as we grow each year. Okay. And I think lastly, really a focus on investing in our youth. So when it comes to ESG, I'm sure all of us know what ESG is. We really take ownership as a human capital community of the social part of ESG. And as such, we focus a lot in terms of developing externally as well as internally. And similar to Sanlam Corporate, we've got a soft spot for youth because that's part of who's going to transform our country. That's also part of, obviously, the pipeline from a talent perspective. So we've got a program that is sponsored by our board chair, Dr. Anna Mokhokong, and it's co-sponsored by our CEO, Gerald, where we go find gems in currently and previously disadvantaged areas within rural South Africa, where we find those students that really want an opportunity within a clinical environment. So last year, when we started the program, we had 4 doctors graduating from the University of Pretoria. And because the launch was quite successful, we've increased that this year, with our current incumbents being 6 medical students, we've got 10 nursing students, and we've got 2 pharmacists. And again, this is one of those things where we really want to keep growing it because it really creates access to healthcare for our people and also opportunities for South Africa. And then lastly on there, we've turned around one of our learnership opportunities where we said instead of just opening it up to the rest of South Africa, we really want to focus and enhance our employee promise, where we created opportunities for our employees' children. So all employees who have children who are matriculants and are not yet working, we provided an opportunity for them to say, bring them, we'll give them a qualification, we'll give them work experience so that it also improves the lives of our employees, also reduces the financial burden, and also it just creates opportunities for people to be more employable. So those are just some of the few things I wanted to highlight from our perspective without necessarily repeating some of the stuff that OB has shared. And I think really this is for us a great opportunity as a human capital community to partner better with business as we transition and continue to do great things.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Kokisa, for sharing those highlights from Afrocentric. We are running completely out of time, but for now, I would just like to take the opportunity to thank our amazing HC community that has enabled us to actually draw and put all of those initiatives through into our business. So, just as a final word from myself and Tlokisa, on behalf of our leadership team, a massive, massive thank you to each and every one of the members of our team. And with that, I'd like to bring Portia back for her closing.
Thank you, Tlokisa, and thank you, Obakeng, for sharing. I think also in closing, I want to say exactly that. I think we have a very big task on our hands. A large part of our business, and that includes Afrocentric, is in transition right now. We are driving a very big integration project right now across our businesses to bring the 5,000 people of Afrocentric into the bigger Sanlam Group. And we are not doing that alone. As we sit here, the three of us, there is a big community in the HC, both at Afrocentric and at Sanlam Corporate, who are really driving the actions around that. And we want to say thank you for your continued work around this and the innovation that you bring to the solutions that we are implementing in our businesses. So thank you very much for that, and thank you for the opportunity for us to share. And back to you, Mpho.
Thank you so much, Portia, Obakeng, and Tlokisa. Really in all the amazing work that you guys are doing. You did get me Obakeng when you said travel and staying young. So but let's see what Retail Mass has to offer, because I might just now be thinking of Retail Mass, or I might just stay in the group and then you guys can just invite me, But thank you so much.
We want you to stay with us, Mpho. We want you to stay with us.
I'm going to stay for no last. Portia, you can just invite me. I can just host the trip. I'll just welcome people as they come along.
Yes. That's what we need, Alaska. Somebody to host Alaska.
I really appreciate it, guys. I really am in so much awe when we are able to see. I can see, I think, from where we are sitting at group, and maybe just in our portfolio, we only get to see this much of the amazing work that you and your team are doing. And I think this is really an opportunity to just open our eyes for some of us who are not part of your team, to get to see the amazing work that you're doing, the amazing work that Afrocentric is doing, the energy that Afrocentric has come into the Sanlam family work has been so amazing. And really, I think just well done to you guys. I'm gonna move us along. We're running a little bit behind, and that's because of technology, but I'm sure we will make up some time. And I know, based on the questions, the number of questions we already got when people were registering, but also from what the virtual corridors and us and the physical ones are saying, everybody's interested in knowing about Project Accelerate, and as we should be, because I think Accelerate is a group-wide project. I'm so excited that we are able again to have Chris Naidu with us. You all will remember that Chris joined us in our October session, October Town Hall. And I think in continuing the conversation about what is Project Accelerate, what does it mean, how, when, how do we fit in, I'm excited, Chris, that you were able to come back. I think we'll just keep you on the agenda going forward. So thank you for your willingness always to be able to come and share with us. I'm going to hand over to you to then share with us on Accelerate.
Great, thanks, Mpho. I appreciate it. And hi, everyone. Firstly, after the Sanlam corporate slides and videos, I feel like our presentation isn't as snazzy, but well done again to the corporate team. I think it was fantastic. But thanks again, Mpho, and it's always good to be part of the agenda in the Human Capital Town Hall. As you said, I mean, the last conversation was in October. I can't believe 6 months has passed, but a lot has happened behind the scenes. So Mpho has shared some of the questions that you've been asking around how has Accelerate progressed. And hopefully in this session, we'll actually answer that, and specifically the initiative that applies to human capital across the entire group. But what I first want to do is give you a flavor of what has changed. And the first thing I want to say is that, obviously we're deep into this implementation phase, which we refer to as phase 2 of Accelerate. The first phase started a year ago in March with EY kicking off some of the initial work working with business. And we made a conscious effort as a group to actually, run this initiative or this entire project in-house, because, by bringing in Sanlam people to actually work on specific initiatives across Accelerate, we actually take the learnings and we apply it in the Sanlam context. Sometimes, you bring in consultants and independent people and they do benchmarking exercises. Reality is, businesses are different and some of the findings aren't as applicable to the business that you run. And that was part of the reason why we kind of decided to drive this in-house. But the other part was so that this could be collaborative, so we actually take the learnings, we have open conversations and use that to inform our thinking in terms of how we approach Accelerate. So whenever you hear Accelerate, I want to take away the intimidation factor. I think last year when Accelerate was positioned, a lot of people feared it. And a lot of people also thought that, this was a project that's happening to them rather than a project that's actually working with everyone. So that is a very, very important message that I just want to share as we kind of start this conversation today. And the second thing is that, Accelerate is focused on, what we call the prioritized work streams. I'll give you a flavor of that now. But at the same time, we've actually started to mobilize all the work streams because we do know that there are initiatives that are sitting within other work streams that are going to run in parallel. And some are also foundational in terms of the support for other initiatives. So if we can just flip to the next slide. What we try to do here is really visualize the 6 work streams. You will recall that in October, I had mentioned that we had crystallized 7 work streams with Exco sponsors, and one was specifically on people and org design. And that we've actually consolidated mostly into transform enabling services. So I will talk to people and org design in transform enabling services. But up here, you can see, just visual representations of all the work streams, each with dedicated Exco sponsorship. And I'll just run through what each work stream is trying to achieve, and what the mandate is of the work stream specifically. So transform enabling services, as we spoke about in the last session, is really looking at all our enabling capabilities. So across all our functions, whether it's centralized or decentralized, sitting within cluster or in other parts of the business. And it's looking across the entire spectrum: finance, actuarial, procurement, human capital, etc. But again, I don't want us to be fixated on this as an org design thing. It's actually not. A lot of the value of transform enabling services is coming from different parts of the work stream, be it procurement and how we manage our spend. And there's other components around actually process efficiency and operating efficiency within that then links to the other work streams like automation and AI. So I will touch on that one specifically in a bit more detail because that does link very strongly to the human capital initiative. The second one is on automation and AI, and we've created an automation and an AI workforce within SGT that's specifically focused on use cases. So every single part of the business and the clusters are actually surfacing what they call use cases that are applicable to either their operational areas or process gaps or inefficiency gaps within their business. And that gets presented in a steering committee every month with Theo as the chair and effectively the head of SGT and the Exco sponsor. And then we actually prioritize these automation and AI use cases. But the beauty of how the stream is running is that we've actually got one team on each automation and AI, and those capabilities and skills can then be leveraged across the entire group, utilizing the same skill set and the learnings. But also if we develop something for a specific cluster, we can actually, adopt that to other or apply that to other parts of the business and other clusters where there's similar use cases. So it allows us to really be efficient in terms of how we utilize new technologies, which is fantastic. The next one is also optimized technology enablement is also part of Theo's ambit of responsibility. And that actually is looking at our legacy technology, but that's also expanded to legacy technology across the entire business. So whether it's in enabling services or whether it's parts of any specific clusters, it's how do we actually create a roadmap to replace technology that is holding us back or technology that doesn't allow us to become future fit. There's a lot of on-premise technology moving to cloud with SaaS environments, but there's also a transition period and a transition plan that's important to be in place for that work stream. The fourth work stream looks at accelerate change delivery. And, in my mind, this is actually the most important. So whilst, change is often put into a bucket around change management or focused on specific transactional activity or restructuring, actually what we're looking at is how do we manage change across Accelerate and the entire organization. So how do we approach Accelerate as a business transformation and not just a project with a set of initiatives, but also how do we get a better handle on our change portfolio as an organization? Because we've got so much change that's happened in the last few years, probably far greater pace than the previous 102 years. And in the last 4 years, just with the transactional activity, the restructuring, things moving across cluster, as well as projects such as Accelerate, it is very difficult to manage, change across the entire organization, and getting that holistic view and being intentional about our approach to change is critical. So that is a work stream headed up by Lots, but we've already started work on engaging with different parts of the business through interviews, sourcing, data from different parts of the business, where we're trying to figure out how we've approached change in certain parts of the business and how others view change in terms of the organizations historically and going forward, and use that to inform our approach within this work stream. So this work stream is going to add value across the entire Accelerate, but also the entire group as a whole. And the last two is really linked into the SFT mandate, the Sanlam FinTech business. So with Rian as Exco sponsor around hunting as one and digitizing customer experience, there's a combination of what you would have heard about Sanlam 2.0 and Sanlam 3.0. And hunting as one and digitizing customer experience, yes, there's a strong focus on the digital journey, the direct client distribution strategy, and what SFT is building. But with Sanlam 2.0, there's also a massive opportunity in terms of leveraging off our entire base. So cross-selling initiatives. How do we build a rewards program that can actually increase penetration across the different product lines? How do we leverage off customer bases, across the entire group that serves a very similar market? So regardless of which cluster or which sub-business, those products form a part of. So there's a very critical component in terms of the future fit Sanlam and where we want to get to in the future that's actually within the SFT mandate, but it's all also linked in terms of the cluster strategies and what we want to do as a business, in each of the, whether it's the direct or the intermediated channels from a client perspective. So those two work streams, you will say, are kind of linked to benefits or value that we're creating as like within Sanlam that's not related to cost efficiency or operating model. It's actually more the revenue components. So how do we diversify our sources of revenue and find new opportunities from a growth perspective? So as I said, Accelerate is really focused on value creation, and each work stream, yes, plays a critical role, but yes, there's significant interdependencies across the work streams, and where it makes sense to actually pull a component from a work stream into another, we do that, through either representation from the work streams within the steercos or engagement at either at the cluster level or at the enabling services level. So if we just move into the next slide, what I'm trying to do is give you a sense of the relative value contribution of each of these work streams in terms of overall Accelerate. So Transform Enabling Services remains the most critical component. Sorry, if we can flip to the slide before, where it represents probably about 50% or 48%, if I'm not mistaken, of the value of total Accelerate. So a huge component is still sitting within Transform Enabling Services. And as I mentioned, it covers all enabling capabilities and covers all clusters. And so the intention here is to really look at efficiencies within each of those, but also to look at opportunities, as I mentioned, from an operational perspective, a technology perspective that interlinks within other work stream specifically. Now, if we explore Transform Enabling Services even further on the next slide, you will now then see the human capital contribution to that. So if I had to really look at the relative value contribution of human capital to overall Accelerate, it actually represents between 8 and 10% of the overall value. And that's largely driven by one initiative that we will discuss in further detail, and Annette and Julie will kind of take you through. But I think the important thing to realize is that whatever we're doing with the Accelerate, yes, there's a significant value contribution, but in order to actually execute on this, we have to actually think very carefully about the action plan, about the priorities within each of the projects. We sit with Accelerate having 75 plus initiatives, all running concurrently, and the different work streams and components and subtasks within there. So yes, I noted one of the questions that even said, when will the Accelerate conversation actually start to sit with us, and start to kind of crystallize into this as an action plan. And this is where we're at on the journey. It's actually, we've now cascaded the overall project into the different initiatives. Initiatives have their own kind of sub work streams and subtasks and projects. And what we want to do in this session is to really give you a flavor of what we want to do within this human capital component of this horizontal work stream, specifically on an initiative looking at onboarding, recruitment, and learning. But I will be here and accessible for the Q&A, and I will try and answer as many of your specific questions. But for now, I'm handing over to Annette to kind of take this discussion forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. It is important for us to see exactly where the work that we will deliver fit into the broader Group Accelerate program. So this was very useful, sort of how do we start from the big picture and really break it down to where we fit in. We have very specific reasons for investing our time and energy on this that hooks to the group project, but is very specific to human capital. And I want to take a few minutes to remind us of our why for this project. So it all starts with our enabling technology. We need to think tech and digital first as enablers. It is then also about process enhancement, simplification, and elimination of duplication. But most importantly, to us, it's about focusing on the development and opportunities for our own team members. And all of this lead to a better experience for all employees and to our clients. So the first phase of this project last year was an investigation phase. We shared on this at the last town hall. Some of you were also involved in this phase to help the team better understand the current model across all the clusters. And then also the leadership team, the HC leadership team, they had an opportunity to share their input from a cluster overall perspective on this before this was presented to the Group Exco. So now, and this latches onto one of the questions, now we move into the next phase. In Q1, we focused on relooking all of those recommendations from EY to clarify for us the specific deliverables and then also the best approach to take this forward in the team. We also appointed a project manager, Julie, that I'm very happy to introduce to you today. And Julie has extensive experience in leading and managing big change projects, so we're very fortunate to have her on board. She's not completely new to the Sanlam business, so she was able to very quickly get up to speed and sort of get her hands dirty in this project. So with that, I will now hand over to Julie to share a little bit more with you on the work streams for human capital, on our approach, and some next steps. So Julie, over to you then.
Okay, great. Thank you, Annette. At this point in time, I look like a bad use case of AI. I've lost my neck and my body. So apologies, everyone. I promise you I am a person. I am not a auto-generation project manager. I'm a very proud member of the Sanlam family. So yeah, there we go, Chris. Here's your one use case of how not to do AI is me floating. Yes, as Annette says, I am very passionate about change, and I am so fortunate that I have been put on this project to help and drive this transformative project. So when we were thinking about how do we present this, to the wider audience, what exactly are we trying to do? And we thought there's no sort of better picture or sense of home like a home. So that's exactly what we're trying to build, is a solid human capital capability. And as Annette alluded to, there was a lot of work that was done to identify, what are the core themes that we're looking at. So we've got our two broad pillars, which are learning and development, and then we've got recruitment and onboarding. And again, what Annette alluded to is that is all fine and well if we've got a clear understanding of what we would like to incorporate in these two pillars. The foundation is technology. Wonderful ideas can only be empowered and delivered through the smart use of technology. So the foundation of technology is so key to ensure that our pillars stand up straight and they maintain a solid, future fit home. And that's exactly what we're looking at here. What is going to be the Sanlam home of the future for human capital and the human capital capability? And it's been alluded to a few times during the session today. It's about our external clients and the experience that they get, but we're also internally looking at our own family and our own people to make sure that their user experience within interacting with human capital is as seamless and as efficient as possible. So with that being said, we've obviously got a task ahead of us, and it's a journey. And I think that that's the important thing that we're going to keep on referring back to is it is a journey. And in order to make this journey successful, we're going to have to ensure that we're all on this together. In order to build a future fit human capital capability, we need to leverage the experts, and you guys out there are the experts. So in a sort of step-by-step journey, number one is in order to work out where we're going, we need to find out where we are today. So we need to document and define our current value chain. So what are all the things that we do within learning, within onboarding, within recruitment, to make sure that we understand the full landscape. Understanding our full landscape will then allow us to move towards the future. But as Chris very firmly remarked, is that this is not a dictatorship from outside, and there was a firm belief that this is going to be a Sanlam future fit architecture based on Sanlam. And I think that that's a very important thing. It's the lens of what we want to overplay. We can devise a future fit model based on the size of Sanlam, the type of products that we have and we service, but we need to make sure that we overlay that with the Sanlam vision. Very important. I've only been here for a couple of months, but the culture is very important. And that's the immediate thing that I have absorbed very quickly, is the importance of people and culture. And that is something we will make very sure that we overlay into our future fit. So if we've got our current state, we understand where we work today, where we'd like to get to as a collective team. We then need to compare these two things and say, right, what do we need to do to tweak, to remove? We're looking for efficiencies, we're looking for things that are redundant, and we'd like to introduce technology and smart ways of working to make sure that we keep with best in breed out there. So once we've articulated that full list, then we'll come up with a path. And I think that that's what you guys all want to know about, is what is this journey? And that's exactly what we will be sharing with you. And I think that that's just something like this forum, which is absolutely wonderful. And this is the exact type of thing that we will be, if we can grace the agenda as often as we can, we'd like to obviously keep everyone updated on the journey so that no one is feeling like they're not part of it. And as again, I think that that's the important thing, that we are looking to build a solid, future fit human capital capability for Sanlam for the future. Okay. Thank you, Impu. That's it from me. Oh, one more thing. Apologies. I did forget one more thing. In terms of questions, we understand that there will be a lot of questions that you guys might not feel comfortable enough to raise in this forum. But of course, if you are, we would love to hear from you. But if you're not comfortable, there's a inbox. So we have created a mailbox. There's a separate Accelerate one, which Chris and his team manage. And we've got our own Human Capital Accelerate one. So guys, as I said, this is a journey. This is something that we need your input, and we're leveraging the experts. You are the experts out there. You are fully versed in Sanlam's culture, Sanlam's way of work. So we'd love to hear suggestions from you. And that is the mailbox that we would love to hear from you. Please don't hold back. As again, I said, if you don't feel comfortable in this setting, then that's the setting that we could gladly respond back to you. And even if there's a group that would like some sort of detailed views on what we'd like to achieve, that would also be wonderful. And that's something we could think about. All right, let me try that again, Impu. That's it from me. Back to you.
Good. Thank you, Julie. And a warm welcome once again.
Thank you.
To you. I think what I liked is that you and Chris sort of started answering some of the questions that we received prior to the session, but also one or two that people already have been asking. Project Accelerate as a whole, I think it's very important for us as the Sanlam business, but I think our human capital transformation journey is something that we've been on even before Project Accelerate has been on. And I think our theme for this town hall is grow to transform. What I've been hearing in this last lot is that in the bigger Project Accelerate, we are part of the Transform Enabling Services. So that word transform is there. Julie's spoken about our transformation journey. We've spoken about we have to do it together, and we have to work the journey, and it will be an iterative journey as well. So my invitation, I think, from me, as somebody who is very passionate about knowing, I think, and accepting that the only constant thing is change. And quickly, that invitation is finding out what does this mean So what, and I think that's what we've been sharing is what is Project Accelerate? What does it mean for HC services? What are the work streams that we're covering on? And the invitation for me is that we have to start preparing our mindset to think about what does this mean for us and what role can I play in this journey? Because it's our journey, and I think we've spoken about doing it together. So two things that came out for me is that we have to think differently. We might have to do things differently. And I think the journey is Julie and Annette and Chris and some of the workstream leads, we will be co-creating that with all of us together. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. So thank you to the team on that. There will be a Q&A session after the Retail Mass Spotlight. So if you've got any questions, please send them through. I am looking through the questions to make sure that we can answer. But again, if there's any that we are not able to answer today, we will make sure we answer them when we just send you all of the presentations from today. But also use that the email addresses, the inboxes that have been created to continue the communication with the team. For the group Project Accelerate, is accelerate@sanlam.co.za. For our human capital specific, is hcaccelerate@sanlam.co.za. I can see Precious is waiting and ready and eager to share the Retail Mass. And Precious, I'm very excited. Thank you to you and your team as well for just the willingness and the willingness and the excitement and the commitment that you have shown when we said you have an opportunity to share with us what some of the Retail Mass HC colleagues are doing and sharing with us. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to hand over to you. Between Sanlam Corporate and yourself, I think I've just been in awe to see what our colleagues are doing in the cluster. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to hand over to you, but Matthew, please be ready for when you get the cue from Precious to then press that play for. But Precious, over to you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mpho. Can you hear me? Thumbs up. Is the voice fine coming? Fantastic. Fun. Okay, great. Thanks for the opportunity and thank you, Mpho. I think the challenge is on as to who's going to win your heart. And I have strong suspicion that you're going to be coming to Houghton soon. So we'll see if Mr. Sanula is happy with that afterwards. Thank you again, once again, and good afternoon to everybody on the call. We really appreciate the opportunity as Retail Mass to highlight and celebrate some of our key achievements and exciting opportunities we are looking forward to as we try and continue our growth journey as a business. We believe there's a lot about Retail Mass to celebrate, but the time limit that Mpho and team and Annette gave us, I don't think it's enough to contain, unfortunately, us to brag about the good things that we've actually been doing this year. But be that as it may, we will try. The one thing that we really should or want to celebrate and brag about is our popular and famous annual sales indaba, where we celebrate our salespeople. I know I've used the opportunity in previous meetings with the HCLT just to brag that Retail Mass was actually trending in January this year in some of the business schools around Joburg at the time when we were giving away cars to our top salespeople. And we have a record of about 70 staff members that this year are going on a incentive trip to Malta. It is a big deal to us. It is a big deal to the salespeople, but it's important that we understand that the celebration is for high performance. The celebration is for the people that are bringing in the money, as we say in the township, it's the money makers that we really need to pause and take the time to appreciate and acknowledge them helping to build this business. So I think that's important for us. As I said earlier, I'm happy to engage with anyone or people outside this forum that are keen or curious to know more about the things that we may not have covered or we won't be able to cover in the video that's going to play. April, unfortunately for us, marks exactly a year since the tragic passing, the sudden passing of our ex-colleague, Mr. Ndondeni Masipwa, who was, of course, part of the human capital team. So it was, for me, quite a sad occasion when I joined the team in July, as the team was still going through the trauma and the grief of losing a team member so tragically. So I thought as a team, we wanted just to acknowledge the fact that it is the month that he passed on last year, and really just spend some time remembering the goodness that was in Ndondeni. But also important for us is to pause and acknowledge and remember the 21 other lives that we lost as Retail Mass in 2023 as a business overall. Some of them or most of them in our sales distribution space, fine out from head office. But again, I'd like to just, ask that we continue to put them in our minds and thoughts and our prayers, and may their souls continue to rest in peace. Our feedback today is actually in the form of a video, which will play shortly. I will give you, Paul and Matthew, a thumbs up when we're ready for that. But before we get to that, I just really want to extend my sincere thanks to our head of OE and HC in South African, Siphiwe Hlongwane. Paul, you've worked with him a lot in the past 2 weeks, just trying to get this together. He's quite instrumental. He's a new appointment to the OE function, which for us has been neglected for quite a while since we lost people last year. So thank you to Siphiwe, and also a special thanks to our head of HC in enablement, Ms. Chanel Math, who also took up the challenge with Siphiwe to become famous. And I think I got jealous when I started seeing the videos because it looks like they had too much fun in the studios. But I really would like to appreciate the two of them, and also specifically extend a sincere gratitude from myself, having been here for 7 or 8 months in the business, to the rest of the Retail Mass HC team for their continued hard work and dedication and commitment to the cause. So thank you to all of HC, the team in Retail Mass. And the rest of the time will be dedicated to the video. We'll then chat to you at the end of the video. Paul, Mr. Matthew, please hit play. Thank you.
Thank you, Precious. Matthew, if you can just share the Retail Mass video.
Hi, I'm Chanel.
And I'm Siphiwe.
And we are your presenters for today.
We are here to showcase Retail Mass and position us as the significant cluster that we are.
Sanlam Retail Mass consists of just over 4,800 employees. And we're a cluster within Sanlam Life and Savings. We service the entry and middle retail mass market, which is the biggest market in South Africa. Our purpose is to empower generations to be financially confident, secure, and prosperous. As Retail Mass, we aim to provide our clients with a holistic financial service offering that meets their specific needs. The Retail Mass Human Capital team consists of 68 team members under the executive leadership of Mrs. Precious Maluleke, or just Miss P, like we affectionately call her. The business partner portfolios are distribution, Safrican, and enablement, and supported by centers of excellence under organizational effectiveness, talent acquisition, learning and development, and reward and benefits. 1 year ago, Sanlam Retail Mass was forever changed by the devastating passing of our human capital colleague and friend, Ntudeni Masikwa. Ntudeni can best be described as someone who was exemplary to living our Sanlam values. He was a gentleman with integrity who, despite the various management positions he held, had unwavering moral principles and never forgot his roots. Despite his reserved disposition, Ntudeni was assertive, and we'll always remember how he'd say, "I'm going to play devil's advocate." And then we'd all know that Ntudeni was about to raise an innovative, smart, outward-thinking view which likely none of us had thought about. He would collaborate with anyone, irrespective of the position or background they held, and worked in partnership with his colleagues. Likely the most special was how Ntudeni cared for others. He listened, always asking others if they were okay, and demonstrated that same care in his work. After 26 April, things were never the same when we faced this unprecedented passing of our human capital colleague and friend.
Our wellness offering is grounded on 4 pillars: that of lifestyle wellness, physical wellness, emotional wellness, and financial wellness. On lifestyle wellness, these are bespoke wellness programs like Ignite, virtual events, and executive wellness programs, and also accentuating access to our wellness app. On physical wellness, we're looking at primary healthcare clinics. These happening either virtually or on site, and the plan is to expand the clinic and virtual consultations network across the Retail Mass cluster. This will also advance itself to on-site and pharmacy screenings that may also be happening across all campuses. Emotional wellness. The best EAP offering. This is about support and interventions and campaigns and psychoeducation, as well as an on-site counselor at the number of campuses where we have the majority of our teams. And then lastly, financial wellness. Also around campaigns, education, and even financial coaching. And employee well-being benefits? First, better communication. Stressed out employees are often reluctant to talk, either to us as HC or to any other person. But however, people who are relaxed and invested in their work, they feel more free to share their thoughts. Stronger teamwork. Obviously, a positive work culture encourages collaboration. Engaged employees are more likely to bring good ideas to the table, discuss them openly, and make smart decisions. Enhance creativity. No one is at their creative best when they are overly stressed. Boosting employee well-being will help us and our teams to develop and express their creative thoughts. And more productive employees. Happy, engaged people are more likely to give their best at work, and they are in their optimal condition to work both smarter and harder. This can translate in a dramatic rise in productivity. An additional key focus areas as part of our wellness program are the Wellness Wednesdays, where we aim to deliver, amongst others, mental health, relationships, stress management, building resilience, and other key and burning platform topics from our people. These happening via online webinars or face-to-face as engaging with our on-site counselor with partnership from our iCares and Afrocentric providers. These happen every last Wednesday of the month, and our teams are free to join across the network to benefit from these programs.
Our CEO Distribution Roadshows is the highlight of our business calendar and allows Mr. Bongani Madikiza to connect with all distribution teams throughout the country, share the retail mass strategy with the main focus to confirm best client services, transformation to a digital platform, iManage Pro, and to enhance our client service experience. In partnership with distribution, our Learning and Development Department crafted and introduced a School of Sales for new and existing financial advisors to enhance their onboarding experience, improve retention of existing staff, and to enable or equip them to serve our clients with confidence. With the aim focused on the well-being of our financial advisors based in Gauteng, we piloted a Live with Confidence Day at our Houghton campus. We collaborated with several departments to create a day where financial advisors could connect with staff based at our head office, and for us to showcase and remind them of the various benefits and offerings as an employer of choice. Human capital centers of excellence and external vendors had stalls, and over 400 employees joined us for a fun-filled afternoon. These stalls showcased applications for the regulatory examination, bursaries, knowing their key accounts in the areas in which they operate, wills, medical aids, both Bonitas and FedHealth. The South African Blood Bank joined us and focused on a walk-in wellness center that offered medical tests for all staff. Also, in partnership with our wellbeing program, iCares and Afrocentric joined us. The initiative was a huge success and will be rolled out nationally with our CEO roadshows going forward. A key strategic change involved the integration of Safrican into Sanlam. As part of our project, our first focus was on operations and later on other Safrican enablement departments. Following extensive consultations with affected staff, we officially welcomed 137 new operations employees at our newly renovated offices in Houghton with their new teams. This created an environment of inclusion, a fresh start with several kitchens, private pods, relaxation areas where staff could just unwind. About 5 months have passed, and on the people side, our focus has been to settle employees, paired them with buddies, and ensured that they feel a part of the Sanlam family. A recent post-integration survey confirmed that the majority of the South African staff are satisfied in which the change was implemented and have found a new home at Sanlam Retail Mass. On the business side, we have to ensure that the operations employees are upskilled and cross-skilled South African, individual life and group benefits products and processes. All employees were asked to participate in a skills audit as part of our ongoing talent development to empower employees and also to ensure that our clients get the best service when dealing with us, irrespective if the employee was from South African, individual life or group benefits. In collaboration with line managers from various teams, our aim is to finalize this audit at the end of March. The primary objective of the skills audit is to leverage the skills data to identify internal employees best suited for future opportunities, to pinpoint areas where our organization may have skills gaps, and to aid the development of our organizational skills development plan. The skills audit has proven to be a huge success, and we have also rolled it out to other departments across the business. We now have a comprehensive organizational database of about 90% of our staff, with the organizational skills profile of their skills, qualifications, and expertise. In closing, Sanlam Retail Mass is also the leader in Sanlam Group for learnerships and specifically employees who are differently abled. We exceeded both our EE and skills audit targets and ended the year with 95 active PWD employees, positively contributing to the overall transformation of Sanlam Retail Mass. Sipiwe will now share the next steps on the Retail Mass strategy plan for the rest of the year.
These are the Retail Mass 2024 strategic initiatives, the strategic initiatives that will be driving growth in the year coming. First up, persistency. Our focus on persistency numbers will give us an opportunity to build a more resilient customer book. Secondly, customer service improvement. What is this about? Customer service improvement has the potential to become one of our key differentiating factors. Through technology, we can enhance our customers' buying experience. Next pillar, digital. Launching a digital funeral product would enable us to improve on customer experience and compete with new players. Rebuilding scale. Explore other partnerships and initiatives to achieve the same levels of scale and competitive advantage. Branch network expansion. Branch expansion project offers a great opportunity to review our customer experience in branches, looking at cross-sell, for example, credit, improve productivity, and improve our servicing model. And then lastly, our people, fostering a united culture that is high-performing and customer-centric. Feedback received from the Barrett survey results, at least for the South African team, highlighted the lack of recognition within the business. The team therefore got together in consultation with the South African Exco and came up with what we now know as the Legend Recognition Program. The program recognizes South African employees across 4 categories: getting the basics right, defending our business, growing our business, and creating a legacy. The Legend Award recognizes an individual who went over and above their role by delivering over and above their mandate, significant measurable impact on clients and people in their working environment or the business objectives, all-round performance, values, and behavior worthy of further recognition, and a performance rating that supports delivery in the role. Nominated individuals must meet all the criteria, and the award is given to winning individuals 3 times a year, in January, May, and September. And the inaugural awards were handed out in the year 2023. The individual award is 10,000 applause points, and the winners of the Legend Awards automatically qualify for the Retail Mass All-Stars Awards. The Legendary Team Award recognizes a team that went over and above their roles by, again, delivering over and above their mandates with significant measurable impact, evidence of success, both in terms of consistent behavior and other metrics such as business revenue, customer services scores, employee and client feedback, as well as a team that demonstrates all-round performance, values, and behaviors that are worthy of being recognized. The nominated team having met all the criteria, the award is given to them also 3 times a year in January, May, and September. And the team award is 5,000 applause points per team member. Again, the winners of the legendary team award automatically qualify for the Retail Mass All-Stars Award. In 2023, there were 5 nominees that were announced during the final staff quarterly engagement session at South African, and they were honored in a black tie evening on Friday, the 1st of December. The nominees were Itani Razilani, Jacob Muepi, Ntabiseng Musa, Pel Shongwe, and Vuyiswa Vundisa. Out of the 5 nominees, 3 were chosen as the legends, and they are Jacob Muepi, Ntabiseng Musa, and Vuyiswa Vundisa. These 3 colleagues have since qualified for the All Stars program, and the awards were handed out at the Retail Mess Indaba that was held in January 2024. And it is our pleasure to announce that Jacob Muepi and Tabiseng Musa have become All-Stars as part of this program, and they will be jetting off to the island of Malta to celebrate this achievement.
Hello, my name is Pindile Riba, and I am the CEO of South African. South African is a company that was initiated in 1932 by a couple, the Hadebes, in Sophiatown. This company was born from the desire to bring about burial support to the people who needed it. At the time, it was predominantly based on stokvels. We have come a long way from then, and now we provide more than just burial support. We provide financial solutions that offer savings, investments, as well as life solutions, amongst others. What really sets us apart is our ability to show our humanity at every single touch point for our customers. That means what we ensure is the quality of our offering, the quality advice that we give, our service offering, as well as that sense of humanity at every touch point. Ubuntu is really what we live for as South African.
My name is Sipiwa Shongwane. I look after the human capital business of South African, where we aim to leave the legacy. Our human capital strategy is pillared around 3 pillars of the business, namely defending the business itself and also growing it. And whilst we are growing it, we're getting our basics correctly. And under that, we ensure that what we drive is through the partnership that happens within our culture journey, and that exists specifically under the culture of performance, and secondly, under the culture of service. And I think under the culture of performance is ensuring that our people know what to do and how it is tracked and what impact that has on our bottom line. But then secondly, we look at the culture of service, where we make sure that the impact that we have on individuals is within the quality of our products. Secondly, the dignity that we deliver to our customers as we engage with them. And how that plays out, I guess, it plays out through the products that we have. And then lastly, with the products that we have, our customers at every touch point need to feel our service standard. And therefore, our HR strategy ensures, as we refer to it as the human capital business, is that our people then feel motivated enough to be able to drive our business and also to drive the service culture that we have.
My name is Simile Kumalo. I'm the Managing Director of South African Eswatini Financial Services. We've celebrated our 10 years in the business. We currently over 50,000 clients, made up of over 120 schemes. 75% of our business constitutes of groups, which are predominantly savings and credit cooperatives. It also includes corporates. We also have a number of women's groups. And we also have been aggressive in offering funeral products to individuals. We've grown over the last 2 years our retail business through increasing our distribution channels with our sales agents. We have about 12 staff members in the office, and we also have expanded to 5 branches throughout the kingdom, We are found in the north, in the capital city of Mbaban. We are found in the south, also in Hlangano, where our clients are able to reach and access our products in their various areas.
Good day. I'm thrilled to welcome you to Safrican, our dynamic organization. This is where ideas are turned into reality and where vision is turned into measurable success. We help families to plan for difficult events and help our intermediaries to grow their businesses and thus contribute positively to their communities. Allow me to take a moment to position the importance of sales in our organization. We're a customer-centric organization. We build our systems and products to suit the customer. We're passionate about building meaningful and long-lasting relationships with our clients. Our commitment to exceptional customer service is what sets us apart in the market. Innovation is one of our values. Thus, we believe that salespeople are the ears and eyes of the organization. It is your interaction with clients that provides us with valuable insights that help us to innovate and stay ahead of our competitors. We're in the process of building a world-class business that differentiates itself based on products, client care, and innovation. As a new member of our organization, you play a pivotal role in our ambitious journey. Your passion, drive, and unique skill set in shaping our future and thus contributing to the success of Safrican. I encourage you to embrace this opportunity with an open mind and a commitment to excellence. Learn, grow, and innovate. Collaborate with your colleagues and draw inspiration from our collective achievements and keep pushing the boundaries. Welcome aboard and let's set sail on a remarkable journey together.
My name is Sokana and I am a learner at Safrican. Safrican is dedicated to empowering individuals and creating opportunities for personal and professional development. The learnership has been a life-changing experience for me. Safrican has given me the chance to gain practical skills and knowledge in my chosen field. They have created a supportive and nurturing environment where I can learn from experienced professionals within the industry. This is an outstanding company that truly cares about its learners. Their learnership program has instilled in me a sense of confidence and self-belief. I'm incredibly grateful for this opportunity and I encourage anyone who needs a supportive and transformative learning environment to consider Safrican.
In a collaborative environment, everyone's voice is heard and valued. In each and every department, our contributions are essential. Collaboration isn't always easy, but it's worth the effort. Together, we can accomplish more than we ever thought possible. Our collaborative mindset not only benefits our team, but also sets out a positive example for others to follow. Collaboration is a key driver of personal and professional growth. Embrace the opportunities it brings. Let's continue to foster a culture of collaboration where everyone feels empowered to contribute their best ideas and efforts. Let's continue to be the face of Safrican without departmental boundaries. Together, we will win as one.
When we collaborate, we tap into a collective intelligence that leads to innovative solutions and breakthroughs. Collaboration isn't just a buzzword, it's a core value of our team. Thank you, colleagues, for embodying that value every day. The ability to collaborate and adapt in diverse teams is a valuable skill that will serve you well throughout your career. Great ideas often emerge from collaborative discussions. Let's keep those conversations flowing. I appreciate the way we come together and facilitate collaboration. Your interactions and sharing of ideas is commendable.
At Safrican, we have 4 values, and our values are as follows. We have collaboration, innovation, integrity, and care. Collaboration is the heart of our success, and when we collaborate, we are able to achieve more as well as winning as one. I'm super proud of how we come together as a team to deal with the challenges. Our collaborative spirit is what sets us apart. We have learned that collaboration is not about working together as departments, but sharing ideas as well as learning from one another. Our willingness to collaborate with different departments, it helps us as an organization to achieve more as well as to improve the customer experience. Let's all collaborate. Let's work together so that we can win as one.
We collaborate to create a synergy that leads to exceptional results. I encourage each and every one of us to seek for opportunities to collaborate in our different departments, because coming together is the beginning. Keeping together is a process, but working together is success. That's how we break down silos. In fact, collaboration fosters the sense of belonging, increase productivity and efficiency, which enables everyone to share the sense of sentiment to win as one.
I welcome you to South African, and I welcome you to the South African family. This is a family of people that are passionate about the market that we serve, which is the majority of the people here in South Africa, and are very passionate about their individual jobs. It's a very collaborative environment. It's an environment that really focuses on performance, but it's also an environment that focuses on recognizing those who do really well. And if this describes who you are, then you've come to the right place.
Precious, do you want to say any last words?
Thank you, Mpho, and thank you so much for allowing us to highlight our Spiwe feels very precious about the South African brand, and that, you know, we must really let the underdogs shine. So that was a great opportunity for the underdogs to shine, and they're doing a very good work, him and Sis P&D and their exco there. So I appreciate that. And as I said, when we started the talk on retail mass, we are truly open for business and for anybody who takes their career seriously. Check out our LinkedIn page. I thought I'll take the opportunity and advertise. There's always opportunities to come across to Houghton. It's not quite Hillbrow, quite close, but it is Houghton, and we're really having fun, as you've seen in the video. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Precious, Sipiwe, and Chanel. Amazing. I really, really enjoyed, I think, being able to get a little bit closer to the clients, the actual customers that we are seeing. And I think what I really appreciated for me is that sometimes being in the human capital space, you feel so far removed from the client that you don't remember. I really appreciate you reminding us of the meaning of the work that we do. That it actually is about the service and the delivery and the products that our clients get. Thank you so much. I cannot even imagine how much work went into putting that video together. So, Sipiwe, I understand why you're not feeling well now. I hope you feel better very, very soon. Thank you so much, team. Incredible. I think I was trying to, I listened to the All-Stars in the Malta Islands, between Malta, and I'm just like saying, guys, I think the clusters are really having fun. So Sinola, I just hope that you're listening and maybe you're going to do something, you know, I'm just saying. Sounds like the clusters
I'm listening, but we in Cape Town, we make up all these fabulous destinations right here at home.
I'm just saying, like Malta, I saw corporate, I'm just saying, there might be something, maybe even take a spare manners game or something. I'm just saying. But jokes aside, really appreciate it. Guys, really the spotlight on a cluster is about us, one, getting closer to the amazing work that our colleagues are doing in the clusters, knowing a little bit more about their businesses, but also seeing opportunities for us to collaborate, learn together, share information, so that we can be there. So please, I hope that you've made some notes, you've seen some of the things they're doing, reach out, have a collaboration coffee. And I really liked how our values came through in this video. I appreciate it so much. We are looking forward to the next two clusters that we will be spotlighting in our town hall. As you can see, guys, the bar is set so high, so no pressure. I think this is a very important time in our slot that we just spend a bit of time answering questions that have been coming through. So we are going to go into a Q&A before we go into the celebration of our amazing colleagues in the Human Capital Awards. But I would like now for us to focus. I have been going through our questions that we received before the town hall, but also during the town hall. So I am going to start fielding questions through to the panel. Colleagues on the line, if you've got any questions that you want, please, this is your moment. Get them in. If we are not able to answer any of the questions, as I said, we promise that we will do that post the session. And I wanted to start, maybe I'll start with you, Portia. There's quite an interest on the Udumo Awards. There's quite a few people who are saying, will you share what is the criteria, what is the application or nomination process? I saw Obakeng, I think you answered to the person, but maybe I thought because there was a couple more people who were interested in it, if you want to just share a little bit more on that, on the Udumo Awards.
Yeah, so we do have a criteria. We've got 2 awards, as I said in the, I can't remember now whether the video played anymore, but we have one that focuses on the values. So colleagues can nominate each other with actual examples where a colleague displays or embodies any one of our 4 values. And then the other one is around individual excellence, and that is around where someone shows exceptional excellence in how they go about their duties, but also goes above and beyond in working with other colleagues in terms of collaboration and delivering value to their clients, whether that's an internal client or an external client. And then there is a category, which is the third one, which is a team award. So a team that has delivered something that creates innovation and growth for the business is also nominated. What happens with the Udumo Awards is that the first 2 awards that I mentioned are eligible for the incentive trip, but the group award is obviously shared within the group or the team that is nominated for that award. What we've done, actually, because we've been running Udumo for a while, this year, now that we've announced the winners, we actually doing some revamping around some of the nominations process, because we want to actually make the process of nomination a lot more automated, a lot more easier, because we find sometimes that even though people might know about the award, it takes a while for people to send in their nominations, and we just feel like people who are really great are missing out on an opportunity to be recognized.
Thank you so much, Portia. Really, really appreciate that. I'm gonna go next. I think I'll go to you, Chris. There's a question that came about just, I think you confirmed that Accelerate is a group-wide initiative, but there was a couple of questions just wanting to ask in terms of human capital. If this, the Human Capital Accelerate is applicable to Sanlam Alliance and Sanlam Investment. And I think I'm just gonna give it to you, and if there's anything Julie wants to add, can add. But I'll start with you, Chris, maybe to the link from the group-wide initiative.
Sure, thanks, Mpho. So Accelerate is actually a group-wide project. So all clusters are in scope. The only exception is Sanlam Alliance, and it's mainly because there's a lot of change happening within that cluster from an integration perspective, you know, with the 2 businesses coming together, especially the in-country teams as well. So it's definitely group-wide, and that covers all initiatives specifically. And what we're trying to do from an Accelerate perspective, because, you know, the sponsorship actually sits with Abigail and Paul, and the Group Exco members sponsor specific work streams, there's no opt-out. So, so whilst, you know, some initiatives, it makes sense to do it holistically and group-wide, but there are nuances within clusters or within parts of the business that's not incentive to say, you know, my business is different, because otherwise a lot of the initiatives will actually lose momentum or the benefits from a value perspective. The one other thing I do want to mention, and Mpho, linked to, I guess, the one other question that was there around centralization. So when we look at transform enabling services, you know, a lot of the consultancy speak and versioning is that to be means centralization. But we've also seen that a lot of businesses go through these phases of centralized, decentralized, centralized, decentralized. And it's mainly because there isn't, sufficient effort put into understanding the current business and the landscape and understanding what the to be should look like. And that's really part of this consultative approach that we're trying to take with Accelerate. So we don't sit with lists of findings for each initiative and say, right, we're going to implement. So now we need to understand the as is, we know the to be, and we're trying to form a view of the gap. Actually, no. What Julie showed on that slide is very critical here, is that we actually, through consultation, are trying to form the to be and understand the nuances in our business and where the business is different in different parts of the clusters and sub-businesses, with a view to form what an ideal to be state is. And yes, that could mean that where it makes sense to centralize, we will have to, or where it makes operating efficiency, or sense from a technology and scale perspective, but it's not the automatic answer. And I think that's the important message to land in this conversation. And that probably answers quite a few of the questions beforehand and even in the chat.
It does. Thank you, Professor. Thank you for answered quite a few of the questions. I don't know, Julie, if you want to add anything to what Chris has said.
Yeah, and I think just probably the fact that it's not a knee-jerk emergency reaction, it is going to be very well thought out, and making sure that we have a good view of what that Sanlam lens should be like in the future. Otherwise, to Chris's point, we'll find ourselves in the same position in a few years' time. So we want to make it future fit. And by future fit, the longevity of the human capital capability means just that, for the future, and don't have to go through, iterations in a few years' time.
Thank you so much. I think staying maybe with that Accelerate theme, I think very fitting and very honest view about how this obviously create uncertainty as well as anxiety when people hear and somebody's asking what are the timelines. I think before I'm happy to answer this one. I will be the change management and org design and transition workstream lead for the HC lab. And I think it is to be expected that there's uncertainty and anxiety because it's change. We don't know how it's going to pan out. We don't know what the impact will be. But I think what Chris and Julie are saying really is that we will make sure that there's enough understanding of the current state as is, how we are working now, where are the gaps and where do we want to go to. And then there'll be a thorough change impact assessment for us to know where the impact is, how much people are impacted, or the processes, and to make sure then there is enough communication engagement. We are clear about the timelines, the what and the how. That will be something. I think what was quite critical was that this is a journey, and it's a journey that we are going on together. So you will make sure you will know when and what is happening as soon as we know. But I think, as we say, some of these things we have to do a bit more work and understand first before we can say what the impact will be. And another question that came as well is that before implementing, will there be a consultation process with affected staff? If there is staff impact, absolutely yes. I think what the difference here is that this is a journey and a change for us by us. So we will do all the necessary things that we do when other parts of the business are going through a change, and we will make sure that we do the right things, of course. So that the answer there is yes. And I think use the email address, and it's okay to keep asking the same questions. We will also, when we don't have the answers yet, I think it will be okay for us to say we don't have the answers yet, but as soon as the answers are there, the commitment from the team is to make sure that the communication, the feedback loop continues, and we communicate as and when we know by when, how much, and we take you along the journey. The HC, and I'm sure Nick will attest to this, but the HC leadership team, the HCLT, is a critical part. They've been on this journey since the beginning. So it's really a journey that is for us by us. So we will make sure that everybody is taken along the journey. And we encourage you to keep asking questions, but also ideas, and get involved. I think when you are asked to be involved and give of your time, please get involved so that we can co-create the journey together. that accelerate, and I'm linking that some of the questions that I made was on the target operating model. I think we've already answered the link and the why we're doing this, so those have been answered. There is a question, Precious, and I saw your answer, but I'm going to give you an opportunity. There's somebody who asked about the Asiopol deal, about when it will be finalized. I don't know if you know, and if they will be integrated into the retail mass or operate as a separate competitor business.
Sure. Thank you. Good question. Without a good answer at this moment, unfortunately. There is a lot is obviously up in the air, and actually not in the air. It's really just what you call it when it's legal and can't be discussed in public. There is a word for that, but because
suspensive conditions.
Yeah, there you go. See, we've got lawyers in the room. Fantastic. Thank you very much. So I am unable to answer any specific question on Asiopol, except to say that that we are currently working with the group in and the M&A group guys in group, and we are about to hand in some papers to the Competition Commission, and that is happening next week. All we know now is that the deal should be signed off for open to business from around October to November at the end of this year. So we will tell you everything we know at the time when we are able to tell you things that we know. So please be on the lookout. There will be communication coming on next week, Monday, just to further emphasize that the deal is happening. This is where we are in the process. This is what we are able to tell you at that time. And then, of course, from then on, you'll have to look out from communication from Bongani. But as it stands right now, we have got the dates of October, November as the D date for the real move to happen. And then in between, as and when it affects you, trust us that we will actually feedback that information at that time.
Thank you so much, Precious. Appreciate that. Yes, sometimes you just don't have all the answers, right? But I know.
I think the confusing thing is the silence. But I think it's important to actually say in the silence there is nothing that we are hiding. We just don't know, and we are of course respecting the legal process. Do not assume that there's things in the background that we know that we're working on. We also as in the blind as you are.
Absolutely, and I think what is good and what I really like what you're saying is that even in the silence, we encourage you to ask the questions, and when the answers are there and available, we will answer.
Absolutely, thank you, Paul.
Thank you so much, Precious. Sanola, I'm going to give this one to you. I think there was one that was, and I'm going to assume that this one has been answered, but I want to mention it for everybody's sake. About has this year brought any surprises or unexpected changes that have impacted our HC strategy? I think we've shared our strategy just now in the video. And I don't know if, Sanola, from the time that we revised, we did some few changes on the strategy in Q1, if you would say that anything that requires changes on the strategy.
So sorry, I never heard the first line of your question. Has what changed?
Has this year brought any surprises or unexpected changes to our strategy this year?
For our strategy. No, I'm very pleased to advise that we took our human capital strategy to the Group Exco earlier this year. It is predominantly based on our 5 pillars, which we've previously spoken about and agreed, and it's been mulled around within the human capital space for the last couple of years. However, there are a few tweaks. I think a lot of it aligns with a lot that we're doing in Project Accelerate. And also the myriad of transactions that we are doing. There's quite a lot on the go. So we are obviously wanting to make us fit for purpose. The big thing for us is the winning as one, our winning as one focus and strategy, and making sure that we operate as one team. So for a simple answer, it doesn't change materially, subject to a few tweaks, and we're still on the road to delivering that strategy. It is a really great strategy. And I think for Sanlam and where we are right now, it works really well.
Thank you, Sanola. There's a question on the FLS structure. And I don't know between Sanola, Precious, and Portia, if any of you have the answer at this point, because also that's a very recent change. But the question is, how will the SLS structure for, I'm assuming the HRM is Human Resources Managers be managed? One. And then the second part of that question is, who will support Anton at a SLS level?
Maybe I'll give it a shot, Amber. I think the answer to that is it's work in progress. Anton with Kanisa and Bongani, they are working together to make sure that they have an exco that is going to be suitable for the SLS structure. And I think once that is there, then we will know exactly what's happening. Look, obviously, quite a few exco members, including myself, we are involved in assisting. However, at this point in time, there's nothing concrete. And again, we will share with the HC community once we have all the information and it's been signed off by all three executives.
Thank you, Sinola. Thank you on that one. Sinola, maybe this one is for you as well. The question is it a conflict of interest to move from Afrocentric to Sanlam? I wonder who's asking that
well,
one.
I'll keep my company secretarial hat on. So for me, I don't see conflicts of interest per se. We obviously are two listed entities, so we have to manage, whatever kind of listing requirements. But from a human capital perspective, traversing from Afrocentric to Sanlam, I'm not quite sure that there is anything from a conflict of interest perspective. There could be in the acquisition documents a moratorium in terms of a period of time where staff kind of stay within their lanes until such time that the strategy is involved. I'm not quite sure if that detail is there, but we as Sanlam, we believe in cross-talent mobility. We feel it's important for Sanlamers to go to Afrocentric, for Afrocentric to come into Sanlam and into our different business units as and when opportunities arise. And the bottom line is that once all the legalities have settled and all the suspensive conditions have been fulfilled, then we will manage that. But if is it a conflict of interest, I don't think it's a conflict of. They are a very bespoke business, and we are a significant shareholder. So I'm not sure that there's a conflict of interest, to answer the question.
Thank you so much. I liked the touch on internal mobility, because I think the last point I want to close out on, because colleagues, I'm not seeing any more questions coming through. But the last one I want to close off on is, and I think here it's really not a question, and I think maybe it's for all of us on the call, maybe for you, Sola. Somebody's just saying that we need to talk more about promotions. I think, and this person is saying we are not investing enough in the promotion development of HC individuals. My initial response is that I think we are just not talking more about it, because I think there is quite a lot of movement. And even in our previous town hall, the focus was on development, and we spoke about the AIHR HCBP program that is all about capability building. But maybe it's for us to talk a little bit more, and maybe allow in this program to talk about some of the internal movements and promotions that are happening. But if you want to add anything to it, maybe that will be the last one that we can close the Q&A session with.
I think there is a lot that's happening, Mpo. From my perspective, I think just in terms of online training as well, I mean, there's a significant component within that repository. So there is a lot on the go. Maybe we should communicate it a bit more. But the truth of the matter is there is a lot on the go.
Yeah, totally agree. I think it's possibly just that we're not sharing that widely. Colleagues, I am seeing some questions. I think one question came now on medical aid, and something on Afrocentric. These questions, what we will do, just because we've run out of time, I will make sure that we do send the question. But Julia, I think you're coming on maybe on 1 minute. Somebody's asking, why is the staff in SLS not allowed to choose discovery as a medical aid option like some of the other classes?
Well, I heard your question is why is SLS not allowed to choose discovery as an option? There's no employee in the group that can choose discovery as an option. There are some legacy, very few employees that remain on discovery and are being phased out, but it's the minimum. And the mere fact of the matter is, we in this business, we all want success for everybody in the business, which includes Afrocentric and all our colleagues. And Bonitas and FedHealth both, and specifically Bonitas, because I've been on Bonitas for up to 7 years now, offer extremely good medical care. So we support the Sanlam Umbrella Fund in the same way that we support SIPA and everybody else's business in terms of investments, in the same way that we support our medical aids. We hunt together and we hunt as one. So that is the answer to that question.
Thank you so much, Julia. Appreciate it. Colleagues, we're running a little bit behind time, but I think we've really made sure to cover most of the questions that came. If there's any that we haven't, we will make sure that we get that. If you've got any last questions, I think between now and when we close, please send them through now so that we can make sure that we pull that and we get you the answers that you need post the session. But panel, thank you for the Q&A. I'm gonna close the Q&A session here, and we're going to move next into I think one of the very exciting for me feature of our town hall and all engagements is really, I think one of the things that we do really well is about celebrating and recognizing our employees that are doing amazing work. And the fact that recognition remains such a key pillar for what we do and how we are being led in the HC community is really, for me, something that is really encouraging for me. And I really like as well just celebrating and getting to know the amazing things that our colleagues are doing. So Julia, to you and your team, I think we really appreciate the work that you do in running the program. I'm going to hand over to you now for the Human Capital Applause on the awards section of the program. And Matthew, you would have the presentation. Or Julia, are you going to, will Matthew just give you the control? Okay. So over to you, Julia.
Simple, whilst I wait for the control to come up on my side, maybe just to Precious and the whole team, Chantal, Chanel, and Simpiwe, it was an amazing video. I must say, it's probably been one of the best videos I've ever seen in my time here. Just in terms of the authenticity and being so simple. It was just so simple, and it explained our wellness offering so well. So yeah, so I'm probably biased to that, but yeah, it opened a few wounds, but it symbolized hope, a lot of hope. And Portia, thank you very much for that view on Sanlam Corporate. You guys are obviously very busy and you are making a lot of changes, and we all feel the changes in various areas of the business in the group. But I think that was very enlightening to see how everything fits together. So when we start now with our Group Human Capital Awards, you know, we do these 4 times a year, and we started doing it because we realized that the shoemaker doesn't look after their shoes, and it's the same thing with us. You know, we make sure that employees are highlighted and they're recognized and they're uplifted, but we need to do it with our own teams as well. And I can tell you that even though it was Q1, and you're all very aware that, you know, there's a lot of stuff happening in Q1, there were very many excellent nominations. And thank you to the people who made the nominations. And thank you to the heads of human capital and the HR executives who endorsed the nominations and colored them in the panel meeting that we had last week. So you'll see there's actually 7 lots of winners this time around. So yeah, so you can beam it up again and then I'll take control.
So sorry to cut you. But it seems we're still having the same issue when Matthew shares with the gray block on the screen. I'm wondering if it will be easier if you share the presentation from your side.
So I don't often work on Zoom,
Roshana,
but I'm
can you-
sure I can figure it out to share screen, right?
Yeah, I think because yours doesn't have animation videos, it's just sharing the screen.
Yeah. So can you see it?
Yes, if you can just go to slide mode, that's perfect. It's
Yeah.
much better.
Okay. So I can manage that. I
Thank you,
just want to
Julia.
put it in slide mode. Now this is, I was just starting to brag. See, Emily, do you want to help me? So Emily's going to come and help me show into slide mode. So what do I do?
At the bottom, Julia.
The bottom, yeah. Okay, that one.
There you go.
Got it. Thanks, Emily. So you guys can all see it in slide mode.
Yes, we
just need to tap it. So the three categories, I think, is well known to us at this point in time: client centricity, simple, innovative solutions, and exceptional service, which are also those success factors that was highlighted in the people video when we started off with. And this time around, we have got a lot of nominations in the client centricity. And I think the constant theme in terms of client centricity is, and if you look and when the nominations were reviewed, it was how human capital and how we as teams and as individuals work with a business to plan and to manage and to navigate through change. So, you know, change is happening very fast, it's happening very rapidly. Some of the change are external changes that, you know, are not dependent on us, and others are changes that we are initiating because of our business strategy and because of the different CEOs in the business. But that's basically where a lot of the nominations came from. And it's amazing because people look at human capital as the fluffy and the soft and the, you know, you just need to be able to have a good conversation. But if you don't have people's hearts and minds all switched on and you don't have them there, then you can change as much as you will, but nobody will adopt it and it won't be sustainable. So without further ado, these are all the nominations. I'm not going to read through it, and it comes across all the different clusters. But the first team that has won award here is the Santam Operational Effectiveness Team, and that's Tabang, Fatima, Shlagu, and Dakalo. And it was a very long, or not a long, but it was a very, very well put together motivation. But I think the way that Nora explained it, and the way that I read it, is that it wasn't just a move. It wasn't just, you know, packing up your bags and these days just basically taking your laptop because everything's digital and moving to a different venue and doing exactly the same thing. It was setting the building blocks for the culture of Santam and for the psychological safety and efficiency in that building and the ways of working. And I believe I haven't had the opportunity when I go to Gauteng, I'll definitely will, that Hill and Empire. That's also where the pictures came up from Miriam in terms of the different clinics. Is an excellent place to work. And this team needed to take a lot of time to plan, have a lot of conversations that influence people, and then in the end, just put in a lot of hard hours to make it work. So congratulations to all 4 individuals in this team and everybody who stood behind them, because it's not just, I mean, we recognize people that take the ultimate responsibility, but there's lots of people in the teams that, you know, helped him with administration, helped him with activation, and helped him to get this done. So well done to these 4 individuals. Thank you, Portia. I see you clapping. Okay. Then the next winning team is the Retail Mass Human Capital team. And Precious spoke very clearly about this, and the video was very telling about it. But this actually started as a retention of a client's business drive, because the South African call center needed to pivot to no longer sell retail products, but to sell something else. And it ended up being retention of employees and like a textbook example of reskilling talents. So nobody in the team lost their job. There was no adverse reports. Everybody could be moved to cyber. There was a buddy system integrated, and the feedback from management and the rest of the business members was really very good. And I think you could see, Precious, in your video, how South African, and if I can call it the old traditional retail mass, how it's meshing together, that you cannot see the boundaries anymore, and how the teams are working across this for the greater good without putting any labels to it. So my label, Adelaide and Itani, congratulations, and congratulations to everybody who stood behind you and who were on the fringes to make this work. Thank you, Portia. The next winner in this category is Bronwyn van der Ross. So, and this is quite a personal nomination because it's in the group reward team, and I head up group reward. So Bronwyn is known by all the other reward colleagues, specifically like Miriam Beyond and Claudine Howes and Tembi and Igor, Regan, the businesses, Cindy Ludick. But Ramona Pillay, who was a senior manager in terms of reward and took a lot of responsibility, she relocated abroad, not because of she didn't like Sanlam, she loved Sanlam, but she just got opportunity to travel and to do work in Germany. And Bronwyn stepped up and patched way above her weight, as opposed to having group office as a client for the entire process of increases, bonuses. She further supported Sanlam Alliance, Group Technology, as well as fintech from Tobacco's business. And she did it with a smile. She had Quiver supporting her hugely in shared services and HE's shared services. But what she basically did was 3 portfolios, and not only that, the volume of work, but it was also the care and accuracy in getting that done, because we know this people's livelihoods. Increases and bonuses of people's livelihoods, and we need to get it right. Bronwyn, when you did that, that allowed me to be able to deal with the integrated reporting and the year-end reporting and all the other stakeholder management that went with the results, because you know our results went out, was very well received in the market, and that next week we will be paying dividends to shareholders, and Paul's currently actually with Roadshows busy talking to shareholders. So a sincere thanks, Bronwyn, and thank you very much for what you did. It's very well deserved. And it was endorsed by all the businesses who are your clients. Thank you very much. And then, staying in the theme of reward and recognition and wellness, to Miriam Tofi of Sanlam Corporate. So Miriam is one of those personalities. She never says, this is my job. This is not my job. I only do this because it's my job. Miriam is very open in sharing knowledge, helping, collaborating, assisting, not just in Sanlam Corporate, but across the group. She's a real team player, and Miriam went over and beyond in terms of, apart from redesigning the Sanlam Corporate Hub and the process and in terms of data and freeing up business partners to spend time with their clients, she also took responsibility of integrating Afrocentric and making our Afrocentric colleagues feel welcome. And Portia mentioned it earlier on and showed that she was recognized in the larger Sanlam Corporate in terms of the incentive trip and going to Vietnam and for what she did. But for your discretionary hours, for the way you showed up and for what you did, Miriam, the business and the group and everybody in the human capital team want to thank you and congratulations. Now you can especially clap, Portia. And then the last two, team of two, under client centricity, comes from Sanlam Allianz team, and it's for Cindy Ludick and Zeneb Benmoza. So Betty wrote this nomination, and she wrote the write-up with a lot of heart and a lot of emotion around this. But to color it in, and I'll do my best to honor it, Betty's not stationed in South Africa because Sanlam Allianz is an international business. So Cindy took responsibility for the South African hub, and she was appointed as the HR head for the life business. And I know Cindy very well. She's 4 corridors away from me on the same floor. And she dealt with all the queries, all the human capital support with a smile and with high efficiency and solution seeking. And then also at the same time, she did the Ghana integration, which you need to plan very well for, because obviously you're not in country, but it is handled with extreme care, dedication, attention to detail. And I think Betty said, your attitude, your determination, and your level of service is a trademark. So very well done, Cindy. And then to Zeneb, who I've met because she's also very, very passionate about well-being. In terms of Morocco, she needed to do an integration, which is always challenging. And, you know, with integration comes human beings and comes people's emotions. And it was the integration post Sanlam Allianz of all the hubs. So Sanlam Allianz is setting themselves up in different hubs, and Betty will come, and I'm sure still explain to all the colleagues in human capital how these hubs work. But I think if you can read from this, she took the whole performance appraisal process in terms of managing it with all employees and CEOs across multiple countries with multiple systems. And in terms of the way that she dedicated her time and her skills to the conversations and the influencing, both for exco's as well as employees, putting others at the center of a priority, and to have the success come out of a landscape which was quite a change and that wasn't at all times stable. I think, Zeneb, well done, and the whole human capital team applaud you and Cindy. Thank you very much. Okay, then going backwards, not forwards. Then, in terms of simple, innovative solutions, there were 3 nominations, but the nomination which really stood out and which is commendable was the fintech and the human HCS's human capital shared services project to move and integrate 215 direct access employees into fintech. So the colleagues that are shown up there, Karen Lee, Pietro Alman, Chantal, Celeste, Michelle, and then Fahima and Ursula, is a combination between fintech employees and HCSS employees. What I have to say is, and Ursula and myself discussed this, and we discussed it in the wider team, is that there are more HCSS colleagues who supported on this, because HCSS is a big machine and there's lots of things to be done. It's not just moving a payroll. Every time people say, you know, just move people to payroll, I just back out laughing, because it's not that. There's about 20 processes and 20 alignments and 20 boxes that need to be ticked to be accurate. So Ursula will make sure that there's sufficient recognition in the wider team through the applause process, together with Clinton. But to this team, Tebeka explained it very well, and I lived through some of the negotiations and some of the consultations they did, because there was a lot of reward alignment as well. But they essentially had 3 months, which was towards the end of the year when people's energy levels are low and there's a whole lot of other priorities to do in terms of year end. They planned for this change management, they planned for the migration. They had very short deadlines, but for every single employee moving across, and it was a large bulk of employees, They ensured that the current state was plotted against the future state, that all the discussions were had, and all the direct access employees moved to all our benefit systems, all our benefit categories, which includes medical aid, umbrella fund, and was paid and was accurately processed in terms of payroll. So it sounds like a minor feat, but it was a huge work done. And in terms of the feedback, there were also no loss of employees, nobody resigned, and the feedback and experience was very well received and highly commendable. So to this team, thank you very much, and we applaud you for what you did. Then for exceptional service, there was nominations of 5 nominations. And I think just before we go on here, I just want to have a special mention to Kim Versavenhout. And Precious will also make sure that there's wider recognition to Kim. The 2 nominations that was written for Kim were so heartfelt in terms of how she's the everyday hero in what she does. To make people, to lift them up, to cheer them up, to calm them down in situations of panic and where people feel they're overwhelmed, and how she does a job with such emotional maturity and dedication. That Kim, to you, a special mention before we move on to the winner of this category. Thank you very much, and Precious and Claudine, I will be in touch with you as well.
Thank you, Julia. It's all done and ticked off, and we really, really appreciate that. Shout out to Kim.
Thank you, Precious. And then the winner in this is also a team that worked on the merger and demerger from Sanfin team into Group Office and from Group Office into Sanfin team. And it's the Sanlam Investments Human Capital team with Gugu, Adil, Zava, Nosipo, Mulalo, and Chiquita. And very well done, because I think what Stephen Rosenberg endorsed here, and he's written in his everyday words, was that this wasn't just a one-way traffic. Because of the way that we use the balance sheet in Sanlam, some employees and some responsibility moved from Sanfin, which is what capital markets, the old capital markets and investments, into Group Office under lots, and some from Group Office moved into that. Now, it doesn't matter how you cut it, there are differences in terms of the way that the culture and people are managed. You know, if it's in Group Office versus in the business, especially investment business. But I think he said that it involved people's emotions and their hearts. This team was once in a lifetime transaction, which they did smoothly. They planned very well. They took the hours to do the change plans, the negotiation, the communication, because that's the thing. People want to know what's happening and they want straight answers. And then most of all, the dedicated hard work and hours. And again, we could retain all people in this. Exceptional service feedback was received from the business, and it all went very well. So to the Sanlam Investments Human Capital team, thank you for what you did. Very well done in terms of exceptional service. And that concludes on the winning today. You will be reminded, so Melissa Dodgen, who is an absolute angel, she will be in touch with you. But there's money up for grabs here in applause, and there's time off or learning experiences crafted based on your choice as learners. And before I sign off, I do want to thank Melissa Dodgen, because she put it together before Easter, and you know, the meticulousness in terms of collecting, collating, and playing back and reaching the human capital heads to check in on stuff and validating it was done with precise measure and was always done with a smile. So thanks, Mal, for your time in this as well. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you so much, Julia. Congratulations to all the winners. It's amazing, again, I think, to just get a sense of the amazing work that the colleagues are doing. But also thank you to the nominees. I mean, the people who are nominating and taking the time to really share that. Really appreciate that. Finola, you have the last 15 minutes of our town hall.
Thanks, Mpho.
So I would like to hand over to you. And before I do that, I just want to thank the entire panel again for an amazing working together. Over to you, Sanola.
Thanks, Mpho. Thanks very much. I won't take 15 minutes. I see we were supposed to close a little bit earlier, but let me just say how proud I am and what an amazing session today was. I remember doing my first town hall, and I'm sure everybody would have noticed I was super nervous, but I had Mpho by my side to make sure that I traversed that town hall seamlessly. But I feel a lot confident now, sort of a year into the role. I really am enjoying it. I love being in human capital. And I think the most important thing is just the people, just engaging with all of you, and seeing what everybody has done, what the clusters has done. We've seen retail affluent before. We've seen, some of the amazing work that's come out of Sanlam Corporate and Retail Mass today, and just some of the work that we're doing on Project Accelerate. It's really in leaps and bounds that we are going forward, and we're moving together as one, and that is really something that's quite important. So for me, it's about people, and I love people, and I love engaging with people. So the fact that we have a whole team of Afrocentric staff members online, for me, that is really welcoming, and I really am very pleased to have you all on board. And similarly, we've got a lot of our Sanlam Alliance, we've got our South African, we've got other business units where we have interests in and or 100% control. But the reality is that this town hall is a home for all our human capital staff, and I want us all to feel part of this this event. So for me, we want to make Sanlam a great place to work, and it's been encapsulated in everything we've seen today, where we create an effective and efficient workplace to thrive in an ever-evolving landscape. And it can't be more true of Sanlam right now. In the last 3 years, we've done more corporate finance transactions than we've done in decades. And the amount of pressure that puts on us as human capital is immense. So I've sat around the boardroom table for many years, and you sit there and you talk about the transaction and a deal, and the board members nod and the exco members nod. And then it comes down to implementation, and then that's when the taki star. And I mean, that's actually where a lot of the human capital interfaces come together. And if you saw what some of Julia's applause awards were about, it's about the integration, it's about being there for the staff, making sure they settle in. And that's what it's all about. And we are the face and the heart of Sanlam. And we need to make sure that whoever comes into our space, they feel that they've landed in a home, that they are loved, and that they are cared for. So thank you very much to everyone for all of that. I must say, Sanlam Corporate, I really enjoyed your presentations. I'm blown away by the presenters. I must say, everybody really did an outstanding job. I love what you guys are doing with the Sanlam Corporate Young Professionals. I hope I'm going to get invited. Maybe I don't make the 35-year mark, but maybe I can be a guest or something. But I would like to be there at some of your initiatives. Portia, don't laugh. I can still laugh at you. And then I love this whole thing about having, a mindful Monday. And then in Retail Mass, we have a Wellness Wednesday. And that's like amazing. It's simple things. It's things that just make you remember particular days and make you get through sometimes challenging times. I also enjoyed the men's sessions that's being held at Afrocentric. That's quite a nifty initiative, and I think it's great to have that. It's not easy to get men around the table and talk about wellness and talk about issues that relate to them. So it is a really great initiative, and well done to the Afrocentric team for putting that together. I also like the fact that there's lots of integration with some of our initiatives. The fact that Afrocentric has done the Pulse survey, and the reality is that a lot of our initiatives are permeating throughout the organization so that we can get more of a holistic picture. So the puzzle is forming, and we're definitely seeing it come together. With Chris and Julie, I must say the Project Accelerate stream is coming along nicely. Annette is my right-hand person in Project Accelerate, and working with a capable team like this is really, really sort of heartwarming for me, simply because we're moving on the right track. Transforming enabling services is a big initiative. Our key focus areas is certainly one that is going to affect all of us in terms of how we think and how we work with each other. And I mean, for me, there's been lots of interesting questions, some of it premature. It is a process. We're on a journey. And I think it was Julie that mentioned that culture is so important within the organization. And that is true. For us, culture is important. I mean, I grew up talking about the Sanlam way, and we do have a certain way that we do things within the Sanlam organization. And that's carried us a long way for 106 years. So we want to make sure that we keep that ethos and that DNA going. And for me, I like learning new things. So now that I know that Precious is known as Miss P, I will definitely be calling her Miss P going forward. And just in terms of the amazing things that was done in the Retail Mass video, I echo Julia's sentiments on the different touch points and how it all came together, and South African, etc. But I will say something for all of us human capital staff members here, is that Pindi, who heads up South African, is actually an HR exec and came from Retail Mass. So there's hope for all of us. We can all be CEOs of businesses. So that is great. The human capital flag flies high. So to sum up, I think there's a lot of dots to join, and there was a lot of food for thought today. I've written copious amounts of notes during the session, and I'm going to be having lots of conversations with Precious and with Portia on how we make things work and how we can leverage of some of the really amazing things that's happened, that's happening within their clusters, and how we can take it to other clusters as well. I really think that is great. I wouldn't want us to forget that we are in the top 20 of top employer. And I mean, that is super duper awesome. A round of applause to everybody, because we really, really worked hard to get there. And it was a joint effort to make sure that we climb that ladder. Sometimes in the top 10, and they've moved up a place or two, and we've moved up a significant amount of places. So I'm very happy with where we landed, and 2025 is going to be a great year as well, because we are going for that. We are going for that top 10 positioning. So let's see how we feel. And then I think just in terms of the narrative that's been used, the uniformity of the words, the terms, the fact that our values and our winning as one permeates throughout the organization is really important for me. As you know, client service is the theme for this year. Paul's quite keen on it. Julia and team has developed a very nice reward program for client service. And I think that's going to go a long way for Sanlam in the years to come. So Paul, thank you very much to you. You are an outstanding host. I can't do this without you. And I'm not wanting you to go to any of the other clusters. You stay here with us. So, so thank you very much to you and to the panelists for all the hard work that went into making today possible. And then lastly, to all the participants. I mean, at one stage, I think we were 337 participants. So thank you very much for making time to be here. I really appreciate it. And I think from all of us in Human Capital, thank you so much for making today a great success. Thanks, everyone.